Hello, everyone. This is Bernie Burns.
This is Matt Hullum.
This is Jeff Fink.
This is Jason Saldana.
And Gus Sorolla, the best of all of them.
I think I have the creakiest chair. Listen to this. You think it'll pick that up? No, it's not creaky for me. Performance anxiety. And this is the commentary for the Season 3 DVD for Red vs. Blue. Or it's the worst audio track of all time. We replaced the movies talking with just random guys talking over the top of it.
What we're seeing here is Matt's new intro that he did for Season 3.
That's me.
It's a good job, Matt.
Not my new intro.
Was
it's everybody's new.
Actually, it's the intro that was supposed to be for Season 1, but it took Matt 2 years to do.
Yeah. I've been busy, damn it. Actually, we didn't have all these characters really in Season 1. I mean, they weren't fleshed out entirely in Season 1, so added in some new people, or not new people, but people that have been developed over the last couple seasons. Doc O'Malley.
Yeah.
The Ring.
Lopez was not really like a full character. I wouldn't say in the first season he was more just a kind of plot point almost, but now he's more of like a guy you want to follow and know about. So we got him in there and got Vic in there.
I would bet that people can't even hear you at this point.
Oh really?
Yeah, you're like a little green little nub every now and then.
No, he's not.
Touch
That's
my
me.
nub.
He's on 3, and it's over off of the screen at this point now.
Touch my green nub.
The
Oh,
one that
okay.
you can't see is Jeff because he's not talking.
Should we start over? We always have to start over.
No.
No,
start.
This Season 3 is 2 hours and 15 minutes.
We're not going through this twice.
Well, Season 1 was what? 72 minutes?
70, yeah.
So this is gonna be
It's like 50 something minutes long.
2 hours, 13 minutes, and divided by 71 minutes.
Well,
That's 3 times as long, right?
We'll have the boys over at
21.
MIT get right on it.
Yeah.
They'll get us an answer by the end of the day.
By the way, Bernie, that was your wife. She wants you to call her as soon as you can. It's not an emergency, but she wants you to call
She
her.
probably wants you to buy another
Here's
house.
another problem, is that we're doing this at it was 8:50 in the morning is when we're doing this commentary. And we did every other commentary at what? 2 in the morning?
Or
12
later.
at night? Yeah.
Yeah.
And now we like get up early in the morning to do this stuff because Gus last night we were gonna do the commentary last night, but Gus we're gonna start at 6, but Gus realized he had to leave at 6:15. So guess what? You didn't have enough time to finish the goddamn.
I was told we were going to start at 4. I showed up at 4. Heaven forbid, I just flew in from Sacramento.
I believe I said, hey, you need to come in at 4 because we have to do the Akon video over again. And
No,
also the
you
comment.
said, you didn't say, you said, just
Yes.
come in at 4. That's all you said.
No, yeah, well you did. You were supposed to tell Gus that we were gonna do it at 6, and then we had to do the Akon video at 4. So you had to redo. We had to redo another video. We had to finish up a video
Even
for
if
a
you had to
convention
leave
we're
at 6,
going
it wouldn't have been enough time to do the
I
commentary.
had to leave at 6:30. It would have been enough time.
Oh, there's a pretty shot with Battle Creek. We always
Oh,
like
look,
the water.
the
Oh, yeah,
video.
we're at the DVDs playing.
But back to this. So then Gus comes in, and Gus, we said we ordered pizza, we have beer and everything. And Gus is happy drinking his beer and eating his pizza.
I bought the beer, by the way.
And
I
then-
bought beer too.
so you knew. So you knew. You buy the beer, and then it's like, Gus, how much time do you have? He's actually, I have to go right now. And we hadn't recorded. So now we're here at 8:45 in the morning. Now 8:50 in the morning, and we're recording our commentary, tired and unshowered and everything else.
I showered.
I showered.
I
Would
took
you
a
like
shower,
to share with the 6 fans why?
Yeah,
Why
I
you
would,
couldn't
but
make
actually
the
I gotta go.
commentary
I can't stick around. I gotta go back up to my
That's
apartment.
the other thing. The big secret is what
My-
Gus had to do.
My cat's calling me.
Gus had to have a meeting with the cat sitter. For his,
God, that stupid cat.
break. Anyway, so now we're here, and the different thing about why we're here at 8:50 in the morning, why we're anywhere at 8:50 in the morning, is now we have an office. Between Season 2 and the end of Season 3, we moved into an office in beautiful downtown Buda, and so now it's the 5 of us in basically an apartment, I guess is what this is really,
yes.
as opposed to like being crammed into my bedroom, at home. I mean, we still cram into the bedroom every now and then.
Hey.
just for old time's sake.
Build camaraderie, cohesion.
And the office is great because you can tell it really helped our productivity because this is the most efficient season ever.
Absolutely, this was definitely. Well, look, we have 2 hours and 15 minutes, which is 3 times what we did for season.
It only took us
What?
six
6
times.
times as long. Yeah.
But
Well, I think the great distraction here is the train, which we'll probably hear about 30 times before this commentary is over.
right, that's my long rambling way of getting to that. Is that now in this commentary you're gonna hear the damn phone ringing and the train going by and all this other office sound effects in the background.
Some complete stranger will walk into the room in the middle of the.
Oh shit! Go lock the
commentary.
door.
I should. I'm gonna go lock the
Yeah.
door.
Okay.
Yeah, We had these people just wander into our office, and then they freak out because it looks like an apartment with like
Yeah.
a kitchen and
The first week
couch.
the first week we were here, I came out of the bathroom and there's like a DHL guy standing in the middle of the what is it? I guess the living room for us. Think of it as Gus and Jeff's room, but
My
it's
office.
Like, it's like the living room. He's just standing there holding a package and looking at me like I was crazy. I thought, you're the one who's crazy. You're standing in the middle of our living room.
you just
Wandered right in.
Our poor neighbors, man. They probably get people wandering into their apartments now too because they think they're businesses. So.
Fuck them.
Yeah,
That'll teach them.
That's what they get for being next to us.
It's okay for playing their music so loud at night.
This is fun. See, this is the grunts, the Reds and the Blues from Battle Creek, and or is it Battle Creek in Halo 1? Beaver Creek, Battle Creek, right?
Battle
No, it's Beaver Creek in Halo 2.
It's Battle Creek in Halo 1.
No,
It's Battle
It's Battle Creek.
Well,
One
it
of
has
them's-
two names. One of them's
one
Beaver
is
Creek,
Beaver
one of them's
Creek.
Battle
I think
Creek.
this is Beaver Creek.
This is Battle Creek.
This is Battle Creek.
Yeah, I think
Beaver Creek in Halo 2.
Is
it's
it?
Beaver
Okay.
Creek. Okay, suddenly I'm confused. We
It's,
spent-
how do you know that? I'm the one that.
yeah, we play Halo 2. You never play.
That's why I know that, because I know what it is in Halo 1.
Oh, okay.
It's
okay.
Onion Creek.
And also, I'm not a moron.
It's Sioux Falls. Anyway, this was a fun scene. We had a lot of fun recording this stuff with the grunts. Is what we call these characters. In the closet back at home. This is when we were still recording in the closet in my bedroom, and this is one of the few times we actually crammed everybody into one closet at the same time. There was like 5 of us or 6 of us, and who was here that week?
I was there.
No, who
I
was?
wasn't
was
in the-
we had somebody with us that week.
Oh, it was
they
the guy
filmed us.
from Fuse, wasn't it?
Was it from Fuse?
Is it either Fuse or was the documentary on the?
It might have been a
Halo 2?
documentary, because I wasn't here for Fuse.
I don't think it was a documentary.
It was not the documentary.
We're talking about the documentary that was part of. The guys from Bungie were
Was
very
it-
cool and included us as part of the documentary
Was it G4?
on Halo 2.
I think it was G4.
It might have been G4.
We're so important. We've done so many
Oh.
interviews.
Oh,
we
we
can't keep
can't
track
even
anymore.
do it.
Get
Oh
some
my
on your eyebrow.
God, the
Maybe it was
press.
the Wall Street
Huh?
Journal.
Here.
What is that?
I think it was.
Right there.
It's a worm.
I think it was Tommy Lee and Pamela recording a new video. And what
The other side.
are you doing to me?
You got something
you
on
got
your
shit
eye?
on your eye.
God, that's
It's
good.
distracting all the listeners.
It's a visual.
Nobody wants to look at
Thanks
that.
for coming up with a visual
Let's
gag,
get a
Jason,
picture
for
of
my
that.
commentary.
Instead of the closet on this year's DVD, that'll be the Bernie's Island will be the picture from this commentary.
So was us just screaming in the middle of the closet and then ramping up our voices and things like that, pitching them up and speeding them up. And a lot of this footage is actually sped up here for the grunts. Like that's, I think, twice as fast. So when we had like any kind of movement for the characters, we tried to do it a little bit slower just so it didn't look totally ridiculous. You know, not that Nico's song he came up with wasn't completely ridiculous. But yeah, like this year I think is even twice as fast. So the guys they come in really fast.
That took so many takes. I don't know if you remember that.
And that might-
Yeah,
I remember
it took a
that.
while.
That was extremely frustrating.
And I was always upset that I had to like, because of the letterboxing, I had to like adjust down to see him laying on the ground. But here's that chain of events where like everybody's connected by their killing there, and that guy gets blasted. I always like the guy got blasted and then like falls in front of Sarge and Caboose there. That's a cut right there actually. When we went around the edge of the rocket arch there, that's a cut that we made. One of the few cuts we made in that sequence. And here's Gus's great line. I'm so proud of that line, the camping line. You delivered it so well, Gus.
Thank you. It comes from much Halo 2 rage on Xbox Live.
Well, Halo 2 didn't exist when we made this, but
Yeah, that's a good
you
point.
had rage in general.
You're a liar, Gus.
Oh, I got called out.
Destroyed all your integrity.
Yeah, you can actually judge the timeline of these videos because when we switch over to Halo 2 halfway through the season, it's
You ruined
exactly when. Oh, I ruined it. I think they've seen the movie
No.
if they're listening to the commentary.
I don't think
What kind
it's
of
half,
jackass
I
gets a
think
DVD
people
and goes
should start
straight to the
by watching
commentary?
I don't think it's halfway through the season. It's like 5 episodes into the season. 4 episodes.
It was, but in time, it was halfway through the season.
Yeah. Well, no, it might have been. Yeah, you're right. It seems like there were so many milestones in the season that we had to like write towards,
It was
like
too-
Halo 2 and Episode 50 and all that stuff.
Right, the
that-
milestones and the challenges.
It was too bad because
No,
they had the challenges. Halo 2, like the release seemed to come up so fast. And I thought we were going to have so much time to do so much more stuff. And there were so many characters we cut out of
Yeah.
the Season 1 stuff.
There's a character in this one right here.
Yeah.
Season 1 stuff?
This
I'm
didn't
sorry,
that chunk suck to do?
the Halo 1 stuff.
We,
Yeah.
we cut whole storylines out.
Yeah. There
And
was
you'll
like-
never see them now.
Yeah, there's another one right there, like Simmons, like this scene, like Simmons going through the teleporter all the time. Oh, seemed like a little jump there. Anyway, but it was right into that stuff was, it was kind of cool because we got to change stuff, and we had the big anniversary or whatever you want to call it episode with episode 50. But to write around it and like right into it was we had to drop some stuff, and one of the characters with the disappearing bodies, man, this was hard too. Yeah. As the bodies would disappear so fast.
I remember gearing up to the episode 50. There was a little bit of confusion because Gus made that episode 45.9 the greatest episode ever. And for some reason, we got to thinking that 45.9 was actually episode 49. Oh. And we thought we only had like one episode left to write up to episode 50. But then it turned out we actually had 3 more episodes, so we were able to like expand all that information, which is good because
I don't remember that
would have been another like 20-minute episode.
Matt is saying we, but it was basically me.
Yeah, it was basically
I kept saying we were on episode 49, and he said, no, we were on episode 46. And I was ranting and screaming in my bedroom saying, no, it's 49. I thought maybe I'd like fallen in a wormhole or something, and Matt had forgotten all the episodes we had made. God, and even this, I don't know about you guys, but you know, when we sit down at the end of a season, we glue all these episodes together and make one big movie. I mean, I see episodes. I'm like, we did that this season. That seems like
that seems forever ago.
Seems
like
like 2 years ago.
Season.
So
is that low res all of a sudden?
What's that?
It's smaller.
You're smaller.
What's smaller?
The video right there.
Well, you're sitting farther away.
That's true.
No, that's about right. That's the DVD resolution.
Have you been watching the DVD so far?
Yeah. By the way, this is Halo. Are you familiar with it? We make a little cartoon in it. That's not.
You might be confused because it's not eBay and there's no guitars on the screen right now.
It just looks smaller because Phil's squatting.
Oh.
He's so demure.
You're talking about how long ago it seems like we made this episode. And if you think about it, we haven't done a commentary in almost a year. When did we do the last one?
Yeah, it's been almost a year since we made the last DVD.
I did a commentary on you to my friends, but
I knew this. I knew that the season was lasting too long. When the sponsors on the website, who they sponsor per season, when they were complaining about the sponsorship lasting so long, I thought, okay, the season is officially too long, 2 hours and 13 minutes. And when we show this one theatrically, we'll probably cut it down, I would think, even further.
Yeah, somebody can get around to do
that. Somebody else can do that.
We can cut a lot of that Tucker stuff out.
Yeah, we can cut a good hour out of this.
This was always fun, the stuff with the reds in the bass and the blues in the bass. And of course we forgot to mention Phil as Phil Winpie.
Yeah.
A great minor character that everybody auditioned for.
Everybody did a role for Phil, so that naturally it went to Bernie.
We just cut half of Bernie's characters out, and we'd have like an hour and a half long cut of the.
I'll still be on season 1.
We also.
No one likes you.
All right, I'm gonna take everybody's mic away. I want everybody's mic pointed at me. We also didn't mention when we were arguing about Gus's appointment with his dominatrix last night. But I love the slow running in Halo 1. In Halo 2, it's great because they can walk. The animation is they can actually walk. But there we saw that like they actually run slowly, and
they have tiny treadmills in their feet that keep them going too fast.
Is that what they do?
That's what they do, yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's anti-grav technology or something like that. But here's the reason why we put Sarge and Caboose together. Why we had to write them going to Battle Creek.
Caboose?
No, Caboose.
I thought you said
Caboose?
Caboose?
All right, you want to stop the commentary and go back and listen to it? But this is why we had to choose Caboose and Sarge for this scene is because they had to both hold the flags here in the scene. So we, had to kind of think ahead. You got to kind of think ahead for stuff like that if you want to do a scene with flags and things.
You can only have red characters and blue characters in the flag version of the game.
Yes, although in Halo 2 now, there's a couple things that are different. Like you can Slayer. You can have different colored people in the same vehicle and stuff like that. That's very helpful. Although I don't understand the impact on gameplay, because when I play Halo 2, getting in like the passenger seat with an enemy driver is just like a ridiculous thing.
It's fun though.
Yeah, but everybody laughs when it happens. You just ride around the map, giggling.
You're like,
hey, what's up?
And there's always some
like
great theory about how you're gonna. What was the last shot?
That one with the Sarge talking, the rocket goes by in the background.
Oh, yeah, Sarge always has some kind of
things. It's just like random fun stuff you can throw in.
I think it was episode 57 where he ducks the rocket.
He ducks the rocket. Yeah. Was it 56?
56 incoming. But yeah, this one I got I printed up like all the stats from this. I think we determined about halfway through season 3, which was like an hour and a half into season 3, that we didn't have any episodes in season 3. Our shortest episode was longer than our longest episode from season 1.
Wow.
From runtimes and stuff like that. Like our first episode of Red vs. Blue was 2 minutes and 34 seconds.
How many of them were better than episodes in season 1?
I would say all. Jeff says that he loves every episode
In succession.
in season 3. I'm sorry, Matt, we couldn't have you write more body switching stuff like episodes 24 through 38.
Hey, look, it's Green Simmons.
Green Simmons. This was actually we had a long decision to make about whether or not to use a green character because we've always avoided using a green character, but we figured since he was a hologram being transmitted that it was okay to make him green because holograms are green, right?
Holograms are green. That's
Yeah.
a proven fact of all science fiction movies.
So
Or it's sometimes blue, like Star Wars.
Yeah, we didn't want to go there though.
yeah, we didn't want to rip him off.
Lucas will go after you.
I mean, the midichlorians and caboose were enough.
Well, this was more stuff that was cut too because in our my effort to have as many characters as possible, the one character I wasn't gonna play was Max Gain, who was a character on Sidewinder.
That's right. Which would have been probably like 43 instead of ending there going to Halo 2. That probably would have stretched out to like at least episode like 49 probably.
We probably would
Max
have
gained stuff.
We probably would have done 2 or 3 episodes just with Church and Griff in prison on Sidewinder.
Do they know who Max Gain is? Max Gain's the Marine at the end
At
of
the
episode 38, the end of season 2.
Yeah.
The guy who sneaks up on Church and Griff on Sidewinder.
When he says "freeze, dirtbag," and actually Jeff does the voice or did the voice before we cut it, and he's actually still in it. He's the guard, but he just doesn't have any lines, and he was a really funny character.
Why didn't he have any lines?
Because it wasn't Bernie's
Because
voice.
I wasn't doing the voice for them, so really, who cares? I mean, let's be honest. But anyway, that character was when we were going into season 3, he was like the main guy that we talked about, and then we added in Wyoming and had introduced him, and there just wasn't time for Max Gain, so we saved him for hopefully for later use somewhere else.
Let's hope so.
Can you still do the voice?
I can still do the voice.
All right.
I think there's a whole sequence where Yellow Church and Max Gain have a fierce battle.
Hey, that's not a bad idea.
Hey,
Season 4 here.
I like that because I get another voice in that scene. I said that we added, like, of all the characters we added Wyoming, we added the Red Zealot, we added a lot of different characters. We added the one at the end of the movie, but we had to compensate for that by adding like 15 churches so that I could continue to have more lines.
Although we did scale back a lot on Vic this year.
Yes,
There's
Vic
hardly
was
any
scaled
Vic.
back.
Yeah, he has not made a Halo 2 appearance, which is...
Yeah.
Yeah, Vic is gone, and surprisingly, we have not received one letter of complaint.
I like Vic.
I like Vic too. But we do have some characters now that are like they're kind of like in the stable, that we can pull them out when we want to, and it's kind of nice not to overuse the minor characters. Bring them kind of like Putty on Seinfeld. You don't want to go to Putty too much, but
They're the pinch hitters.
the pinch hitters.
You need a
there you
comedy
go.
home run, you call in Vic.
Yeah, right.
Or maybe a comedy single.
You need 20 minutes of exposition? You call in church. And those shots right there for Vic, those were done in Halo PC, right?
Is that right?
I think so.
Yeah, I think they would have had to have been.
Yeah, because you couldn't get that close to his shoulder without using Halo PC. There's a free camera now that's available in Halo PC. It's in the CE edition, the custom edition, right?
What?
Of Halo CE. You can download and get rid of the reticle and stuff like that. The problem is that you need one computer for every character that you're using, so it gets a little expensive pretty quickly. And I think we realized we were leaving Halo 1, so we tried to use as many Halo 1 maps as we could as quickly as we could. Like we used Chiron and Sidewinder and everything else as fast as we possibly could. Battle Creek, Beaver Creek, or Battle Creek as fast as we could. Somebody's gonna have to look that up now.
The Creek. I trust Jeff.
It's Battle Creek and Beaver Creek. Battle Creek and
Yeah,
Halo
that's
1.
what we know.
So
It's
we
Battle
know
Creek.
that.
We don't know which one's which.
Let me finish, jackass.
Battle Creek is Halo 1.
Battle Creek and Halo 1, Beaver Creek and Halo 2.
All right.
It's not that complicated.
Okay.
It's alphabetical.
Yes, it's alphabetical. That's how they planned it.
So, and then we left Sheila.
There's a
Train.
train.
Train number
Here comes
1.
the train.
So here's our first train. You want to mark it down? We're gonna see how many trains go by.
We
in
actually-
the commentary.
Almost started the commentary, but then we had to stop because there was a train.
And Gus had an appointment.
Yeah.
Gus had something blocked off
What time is it?
from 8:35 to 8:45. Gus, we were had to stop because Gus had somebody else penciled in. And this was
pencil dick.
no, it was penciled in. We had this is when we started thinking about what the hell were we gonna do with Sheila,
Yeah.
Because Sheila could not leave the map. And in Halo 1...
She's a little hefty to squeeze through that
teleporter? Yeah, she's a little tough.
Don't tell her that.
Oh, but the Green Simmons, but we got talking about Max Gain. Green Simmons was supposed to be like a separate character too. Like he was supposed to be tied in with the teleporters. And we showed a little bit of that in the last episode in Halo 1 where he like brings the grunts in and he can use the teleporter to move around and things like that. But it was just... Once again, it was like we had this...
Gus got screwed.
Yeah, well, it had more lines for Gus, so we had to cut it. But no, it was we had coming up on Halo 2, and we had to write to the plot point of Halo 2 because it was this kind of big event in the real world that was affecting, the fictional world that we're working in. So we kind of had to get rid of that as well. But we did make time for the extra churches, which I think is important. We were able to accomplish
Always time for extra church.
We went back to Halo 1 just to get some more churches in.
Yeah, the primary goals. So, I mean, that's how we evaluate, we go to look at, like, Halo 2 or Halo 1, and we try to see how many characters we have on screen at one time. I'm thinking, how many churches can we have on screen at one time? And I think we fulfilled our goal of 12 churches on screen at once.
Shut up, train.
There will be times when it actually feels like the train is driving through the office.
I don't know. It doesn't even look like it's being picked up.
It's probably because it's a
possible?
southbound train. If it was a northbound train,
I think it's
The northbound trains are louder. I will agree with
especially if
you.
it's a northbound commuter train, the Amtrak.
Yeah,
it's not being picked up because we're not actually doing lines right now.
Right.
For a tight deadline.
Yeah. Jeff and Gus are actually in the front office as well, and they're closest to the train tracks, so they become a little shell-shocked by the end of the day when there's a lot of trains going by.
We yell at the train.
And they do, like Jeff saying that it's southbound train or northbound train, they actually do understand the different flavors of the trains.
Didn't somebody try to hurl a tomato or an egg at the train?
I tried to throw a mango at it.
Did you hit
Was
it?
it that nasty mango?
No, it bounced like a foot away from it, and then bounced like under the train in between the tracks.
I like that you wanted
Yeah,
to
I saw
like,
the mango the other day. Actually,
I hurt my back doing that too.
I like,
It sucked.
I like that you want to defile the train, but you want to do it like with a tropical flavor.
Yeah.
Next time, throw a pineapple at it.
That's Jason's style.
Yeah.
Damn
like
you.
the one act of physical exertion hurt you.
Take this papaya.
Yeah. It's
You're a good
too
soldier.
much.
This is harder than
There's
moving a
Max
mouse
Gain
and
right there.
clicking.
Yep.
Not to ignore your conversation about mangoes, but that was Max Gain running away
This
right
shot
there.
didn't the shot suck because of the invisibility?
That shot sucked.
Yep.
It was like right where Griff
Griff
is
went
standing.
invisible.
That's
No,
where
it's,
it
it's
was.
right under that pillar that was in the center there. And Griff or whoever would pick
Yeah.
it up.
And
Or
it,
the
It was
and it
Griff, I
respawns
remember.
faster than any invisibility anywhere.
Yeah, when you're playing the game, you're waiting for that invisibility to respawn. It probably takes forever. But when you're just trying to like have two knuckleheads bob their heads, it respawns about
I know
2
because
seconds.
I remember because Griff would be delivering lines,
Yeah.
then he would just turn invisible.
I remember thinking, man, I'm glad this scene's over. We never have to deal with that again. And then
And then we
last
shot.
week, Matt
We'll
made
try
us
to do it
reshoot a
again.
bunch of stuff for that, and we had to do it all over again. And it was
Oh,
just
really?
as annoying.
Yeah.
Thanks, Matt.
You're welcome.
The weird thing about Halo 1 2, because we got used to playing Halo 2 so much after it came out, and we forgot like in Halo 1 certain things can happen, like with especially like the invisibility, is that Griff, the cameraman would pick up the invisibility to try to get around that, and then Griff would pick it up again because it would respawn, so we'd have 2 invisible characters sitting there. So the respawn was sometimes so fast that 2 people could be invisible. We learned that with like the rocket launchers too. We went back and played Halo 1 just the other day, and I had the rocket launcher, was running around all happy, thinking nobody else could pick it up, and then suddenly Jason shows
I
up.
think it was Gus had it.
Yeah, or somebody
Killed him.
showed up, and there was like 2 rocket launchers on the map.
I
and
only
it
had
seemed like-
grenades.
The big one that always throws me about Halo 1 is the fall damage.
Oh yeah. How do you
Yeah.
get full
I killed
damage now?
myself playing with Bernie.
Yeah, it's weird when you go back. Like we after the new maps came out for Halo 2, we went back and looked. Get out here. We went back and looked at Wizard on Halo 1, which is now Warlock on Halo 2, and it's amazing the difference. I mean, it's amazing. It looks like
I would go as far as to say it's phenomenal.
I would say it's amazing.
Phenomenal.
I'm gonna stick with my original adjective, but it looks like those games came out 10 years apart. And it's just what 3 years
Yeah.
or something. Yeah.
Don't exaggerate, Brent.
That's what it looks like to me. In my mind, it was 10 years.
I think Marathon was 10 years.
Don't you have an appointment to go to or something?
Also, 10 years is nothing to an old man like Bird, so.
That's right.
That's true.
And this is that card there is salmon colored.
Did he just
We
bump
had,
into the wall?
That's poor acting.
No, he got hit. He got beat by
He
Wyoming.
did run into the wall.
We also all tried out for Wyoming as well. Joel tried out for Wyoming. I tried out for Wyoming, And then Matt ended up doing the voice for Wyoming.
And other people who aren't even in the group, I think.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was probably the
remember
worst
that.
round of tryouts ever.
Oh, that was
Yeah.
awful.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
How was Joel's Wyoming?
Yeah,
I
we
didn't hear
talked.
that.
Remember we talked about putting.
It was pretty. I enjoyed it, dude.
He was like, "Hello, governor." Well, I'm looking up at Google right now. There's a Battle Creek, Michigan, for those of you that are interested. So
Shout out to all our viewers in Battle Creek, Michigan.
Yeah.
we should show up in like a red suit of armor and steal the flag in front of their courthouse and go running away shooting. Let me see here. There's a lot of Battle Creeks apparently. So anyway, but I tried out for Wyoming. Matt tried out for Wyoming.
Everybody
Jeff,
just
did you?
ruined it. Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah. I know Jeff did, but did you guys?
I think I wanted to, but
Do
I
it
knew
right
there was
now.
no way.
Come
No way I
on.
could do
Do a
that.
British accent. Come on.
I cannot do
Come on,
that.
Cary Grant. Let's hear
Oh
it.
crap! Were we doing a British accent? See,
Well-
I was doing Indian, so.
Well, actually, when I did mine, it was Australian. Not that anyone could tell the difference between the two, but
Well, we had several
Oh, yeah,
Australian
yours was
accents,
Australian.
I think.
and then Matt did you did a French one, which was
Did I?
Yeah.
For Wyoming?
yeah.
Yeah.
I remember doing a French one for Doc a long time ago. Do you remember
Oh,
that?
was that Donk you did the French one
Yeah.
for? Yeah, we talked about putting those on the DVD, but it was just so
They're
bad.
bad. They're really
Yeah,
bad.
some are. Oh.
I did a Cockney for Doc too. Like a
Oh,
like a an old timey like stagecoach driver kind of guy.
Let's hear some of that.
No.
it's not.
no. Don't do it.
They were bad, dude.
We talked about giving Texas Southern accent too. Remember that initially with Kathleen, but we chopped that
Yeah,
pretty quickly.
that would have been bad.
Our
Yeah,
group's
that'd
just
have
not
been really bad.
accents are not our
Yeah,
We're
right.
not actors, except for Joel.
except for Joel.
And
Yeah.
even then, come on, really. I'm serious.
So you're banned from the site.
I know. I'm glad we did manage to fit Wyoming in because I thought he would be a fun character. That is kind of crazy English sniper guy. I always think of him like when we're doing him. I always think of him like, having a curly mustache and like a pith helmet on or something.
we
This
Straight
shot
like
right here,
Gunga Din.
this shot that just went by, we get more questions. I think that
I was about to point that out. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wait,
like
how? What?
that with
the doors opening.
doors opening, so to speak. We get more questions about that than any other visual effects shot I think we've ever done. Because
Yeah.
people think it's actually in the game.
Yeah, they want to know how to cheat, I guess.
How to cheat and
Get between the bases.
get that open. But there's not actually a way to do that. It's just
It's Hollywood magic.
it's Hollywood magic.
Hollywood magic. We they're actually just a little further back down the hall, so that there's nothing in front of them, and then we just Matt superimposed the bars over the top of them, and then removed them, and Nico added a really cool sound effect there. That's one of the coolest sound effects I think. That like
That
stone,
tuk, 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 tuk.
yeah, grinding
Yeah.
kind of thing he has.
What movie did he take that from?
Let's not ask questions.
And here's there
Halo
was
2 is
there's
Beaver
another
Creek.
part
Halo
right
1 is
there where
Battle Creek.
That fade out was just now. That's I think there were a bunch of deleted scenes in there. I know we have at least one of them on. Or is that maybe later that deleted scene comes up with Tex and Doc? But during that fade out, there were several scenes that we weren't able to include
Well,
just for time reasons. Are we on episode
Well,
43 now?
That's a cool shot.
That is a good shot.
I'm grabbing my thing here. My
Whoa,
thing.
hey, too much information.
I got my sheet here. Okay, episode 40. We got up in this range. Episodes were getting to be like 13 minutes, 10 minutes,
It's
8
ridiculous.
minutes. So we try to keep them around 6 minutes because we don't think anyone will watch something longer than 6 minutes on the
Or be
internet.
able to download. That's the thing I was worried about is that just the file size is too big that
Yeah.
the average person out there can't grab it reasonably.
Well, I think too. Like whenever we look at stuff on the internet, it's like everything seems like, like 3 minutes longer than it should be, or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you watch the first 2 minutes and that's it. I mean, usually it's all stuff is usually like one-off premise type humor, and
After you've gotten through the joke, there's no really reason to keep going.
At this point, all of our stuff is about 10 minutes too long.
I think it's about 2 seasons too long. I'm gonna cry later for saying that.
We passed a while ago a shot that was one of my favorite from all 3 seasons. I think I had Simmons in the foreground, and then it's like 2 other characters flanking him on either side. It's like just a nicely composed shot. He's talking. I think it's the one shot where he says, "O'Malley, Reds and Blues are working together now."
Oh.
Yeah, I think he needed a good shot for that line. I felt like that looked really nice.
Yeah, it was the shot we were talking about earlier with the bars opening that Matt was doing. That was at the point where we knew what we were going to be doing for the multiple churches, and we set up the fact that they get let out of prison somehow, and they don't know how they got let out, and later we reveal it was church. And that was probably
Church saves church.
Yeah, church. Of course.
Figures.
He lets him out so that he can have more
Church
lines.
saves, kills, does everything else to himself.
I'll be right back. I have an appointment to go blow my nose.
So the
Lock the door.
this was and that was probably we were probably 7 or 8 episodes ahead at that point of writing, so that was pretty good. Like we knew where we were
Well,
going.
you wrote like, you wrote like 40 pages before we started the season,
Uh-huh.
and then we were like, 40 pages, this is great. This will last us like, halfway through the season or whatever, and it lasted. It's
Yeah,
like it was
right.
so short, it was unbelievable. I mean, we look at
It was
the
like
first,
2 episodes.
Yeah,
2.5
because like
episodes.
the first 2 or 3 episodes were like 10 pages each.
Yeah, and usually our stuff runs about a minute of screen time per page. We try to. It depends on how
Not
much
really the
action
case
there
this
is.
season though.
It depends on the action.
Yeah, I mean in this season it was like I think we just cut a lot faster. We try to keep things moving a lot faster.
And the front half of the season was really action heavy.
Yeah.
I mean, all that stuff, the grunts, it was really
This
action
stuff
heavy.
here
The stuff here.
Well, it's the runs too, but they I think we were running like an 8-page. That was good. That's Matt's work with the lightning there.
That was great.
We used the shield for the guy. We just kind of shot him with a pistol where you couldn't see the bullets hitting off him, and then Matt added the little lightning effect there. That's great at that stuff. I mean, it's like, before like in season 1 when Matt was still living in L.A., we couldn't use a whole lot of those effects. We just kind of used everything from in game, like when Lopez's weather machine ramped up there. That was the King of the Hill area.
Which was fun.
Yeah, that was cool. Oh, the corpse humping joke. That was a
Oh
big
my
debate.
goodness.
I'm back, by the way. We
Yeah.
keep going now.
Oh, thank God. We almost ground to a halt when you left. But we swore we would never do a corpse humping joke ever. Remember?
I definitely remember. Because I voted against the corpse humping joke. And then I think after that I tried to write in like fart jokes and sex jokes and everything else. And Marie's like, you didn't want the corpse humping. What's the matter with you?
Yeah. Now we have a fart joke in there and things like that. So anyway, we use. But I think it was actually I liked it because the grunts are supposed to be
They're supposed to be
kids playing
Yeah.
Halo. You know what I mean? Like they're supposed to be like the 13-year-olds that always kick your ass on Xbox Live, and so it seemed appropriate for them to do corpse humping, and poor O'Malley has to suffer through it.
And here's the big transition. The big transition. God.
That has to be some of your finest work there.
Yeah,
I love the clocks in this. I have to say, I really do love the clocks, especially this cuckoo one that comes in at the end here on the right. Cuckoo.
Now we know, and Nico does the sound effects. See, if this was an episode of Lost, though, all those clocks the time on them would mean something.
That's
but
right.
it really wouldn't mean anything. So.
It'd be 6 numbers that were all
Did you put any thought into what numbers to put on it?
on the clock,
Yeah.
on the times. Google image search helped me with that decision.
Here we have first shot of Halo 2 and the first of our 3 Halo 2 aspect ratios.
Yeah,
right.
yeah, the ever-changing aspect ratio for Halo 2.
We had 5 total aspect ratios in this season, if you count the full frame stuff.
Yeah, yeah, like the stuff we just saw with that's all full frame with the temporal vortex
Yeah.
stuff.
Which was sweet.
I think it's you gotta have Sarge. If you're gonna have Sarge stuck in a temporal vortex, it's gotta look like that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Something from a 50s sci-fi movie. But you can see actually, Bungie had us up to Seattle like 3 days before Halo 2 came out, so we had to make this video.
Very nice to do that.
Yeah, it was very cool, and it was like this is a 10-minute video we had to make in like 3 days, and we hadn't seen Halo 2. We'd only seen like, screenshots and things like that.
Same thing everybody else had seen.
Yeah, same like anything that was publicly out there is all we'd seen on it, and lots of speculation and things like that. We didn't even know. We wrote them leaving Blood Gulch, partly because we didn't know that Blood Gulch was going to be in Halo 2.
Right.
When and then whenever we asked about it, anyone we knew at Bungie would just like stare blankly at us and smile. They wouldn't say anything. So we had to write around getting. Now there's your curtains.
I love that. That reminds me of Rushmore so much.
You can also see their shoulder insignias too.
Yeah, so we had 3 days, so we
Yeah.
couldn't figure out everything in the engine, in 3 days. So we just kind of had to go with what we had, and that's why you're seeing the Sentinel beam was we determined the one that had the most visual real estate.
Yeah, it is carried the lowest on the screen.
You could tell we hadn't got used to some differences in Halo 2. Also, a few shots ago, there's a scene where Caboose runs into frame and he bumps Tucker and he
Yeah.
actually moves Tucker over to the right,
remember
which wasn't a problem. In
I remember
Halo.
when we were shooting that. It took forever. We kept like, don't bump into him. Like, I'm not doing it on purpose. And took forever because we didn't understand how the characters worked, like their relative space to each other.
And this like the shoulder insignias here, they almost glow a little bit, especially in like low light areas.
Yeah, the donut one was crazy.
Yeah, and so we were really happy we found a way to get rid of those, and that was, I mean, they're cool. They're cool in game, but when like for the machinima stuff, it's they really kind of stand out because the characters are sitting.
That was supposed to be my job to find a way to get rid of those, and I spent like 2 hours, and I was convinced there was no way. I told Bernie it was impossible, and then he did it in like 2 minutes. He figured out how to get rid of them.
And you'll see things like disappear slowly. Like you'll see the shoulder insignias disappear. Like I think the next episode, which is probably 5 minutes from now, and then
I think it's 3 episodes that we have the reticle on screen.
Yeah, the reticle disappears because we found a way to get rid of the weapons with Oddball. And you can actually have the Master Chief model with no weapons in his hand at all, which is cool. I mean, very cool because it's nice to have it. You think we'd actually be able to use it a lot more with characters just standing around with their hands open, but it really only seems to work well in the Jeep because the actual stance that the model has is the same one they use for the sword. So he's kind of standing with both hands out in front of him. He looks like he's like ready for action, you know what I mean? So it actually works better to use the thing they put in there to do machinima work, which is really cool.
We've only used it a couple times, I think, with like outside of the Jeep. One was when the Red Zealot gets killed by Tucker. And I always like that because they do hold their hands out, kind of like wide open, like they're surprised almost. And it made for a great kind of like Alien versus Predator moment when the Predator sees the alien at the end of the movie.
You just ruined the movie. You just ruined the movie for someone.
Yeah, but you ruined somebody else's movie.
That was somebody else's movie, not this movie.
No, that is a great scene. That makes the whole movie worth it. Seeing Predator get surprised at the end.
I felt like Red Zealot was like doing the same thing there. He had like.
I thought Predator was overlooked in
it's funny, we spent 10 days in Sundance this year, and that's the one thing I remember is watching Alien vs. Predator.
That was the best movie from Sundance 2000.
You can actually see here Sarge's, or Simmons' patch. His is, even though it's maroon, it was gray. Remember? That was one weird thing is that like on the maroon guy, his patch was gray. And it's actually a little muted. We're going to move everybody to the gray ones. And what we chose for the insignia, since we had to use one, since Jason couldn't figure out how to get rid of them, we chose the red insignias. Like that patch on their arm, they all wear the same one. The red guys all have the insignia that's on the red flag. And Tucker has the eagle, which is the insignia that's on the blue flag. So all the blue guys have that eagle, and all the red guys have that snake. And there's that secondary color.
It's our first shot in Marathon.
And it's first shot in Marathon. I did this one. You can see my lousy little mouth there. Mouth movement.
Actually, it's pretty good.
Yeah, but it was like animated frame by frame too. So it was like actually pulling, like photoshopping the actual stuff. So, but we still have the insignias. It's a new episode. We still have the insignias here, but they're a little. I think we figured a way to make them choose colors that are a little more muted. And we've abandoned now the secondary colors. Like Tucker, when he first wakes up, and he pulls his head up, you can see the secondary color. We were going to have all the blue guys have blue on their, like they had a blue stripe on their helmet, and we abandoned that one pretty quickly too. Just because it was something new in Halo 2 that we could have secondary colors, but yeah, we got rid of it pretty fast.
Tucker didn't like the colors.
Speaking of Tucker, he looks like the wrong color in this episode.
I think we've talked about this before,
No,
haven't we?
it's not.
No.
Yeah, we triple checked it. He's the right color.
Yeah, this one, I think
weird
it was just
lighting.
he was just weird shadows. Because
Yeah.
we did go back into this map and put him in that same place, and it was just weird.
Man, I remember looking at this now, and I remember all the speculation we had about Halo 2. Like, we were so worried about stuff.
Oh, yeah.
The big thing we were worried about was whether or not the quote-unquote bug from Halo 1 that allows us to do machinima in Halo, we were worried it wasn't even going to be here in Halo 2. And that's where, when you point the gun at the ground in Halo 1, the character looks straight ahead so that you don't have to point the guns at everybody.
This thing isn't gray. I
And
think we must have set it to gray.
Yeah, that is weird. Well, there's always a weird thing too. Jason's pointing out that Simmons is not gray in the scene. There's always a weird thing too, like in Halo 2, when you have multiple characters on screen, it will affect the way certain things look. Like not everybody has a shadow.
Yeah.
Things like that. It's stuff in the game to.
They drop stuff out to make the gameplay faster.
Yeah, and so I think that might have been one where we set it up that day and it was gray that day, and we couldn't figure out why because we had 3 characters.
That was weird when we were first testing. I remember that and we had all those characters because. There's a lot of characters in that play scene and that one before it, and it's like things kept dropping off or would be different, and we couldn't figure out why.
Yeah, this is the game handling the resources. Here's the broken down warthog they find. when they left their warthog in Bud Gulch when they left. But the cool thing about Halo 2 is that bug that I was talking about was taken out almost immediately. And we heard that, I think somehow, like we heard speculation that it was gone, like it was one of the first things that was fixed. And then right before the game came out, like the last week of development or something like that, we heard that, was it Chris Butcher? We don't really know who, but we think it was Chris Butcher or somebody at Bungie, with all the machinima videos now that are being made in Halo, they wanted to make sure that people could still do it. And so they went back and added that bug. They didn't add a bug in, but they added that feature in where you can like hit down on the D-pad and it drops the person's gun so that you can actually do machinima. Has no effect on gameplay. They just stuck it in so that people can make movies in Halo, which is really cool.
I think Nathan said he was the one that actually did the animation for that.
Oh, really? Yeah, that's really cool.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Here's the first appearance of Lopez Head.
Lopez Head.
Which I think was one of the funniest changes to any character in Red versus Blue.
Looks kind of like a coconut there, like something you find on the beach.
It's like you see.
I just figured he was buried in sand.
Pick it up, it's got
one of his
crab.
buddies.
He was.
Pick it up, it's got a crab inside.
And we actually, we'll save it for, I guess, next season. But when he changes his name to.
Oh yeah. I'll save that for next season.
Joe Lopez will actually go through a name change. And here's the legs. These are actually dead bodies that are underneath the warthog of Sarge and Donut. Getting them to die together was.
I'd say Sarge's game.
I thought they were.
They died differently, and we photoshopped them.
Yeah, well, we tried for initially to like kill them and then run them over with the warthog, but the bodies respawn so fast that we photoshopped in the legs in. And this is a new episode. We still have our reticle. We still got our insignias too. I think we might have discovered like everything all at once, just having more time with the engine.
Is this where that Tucker line is? The women always said that if I was the last man on Earth.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite Tucker lines.
He's kind of a one-note character. It's okay.
Shut up.
Played by one-note actors. So
it's amazing he can go into another dimension and still be one-dimensional.
Also, like a smoke.
Gus is shaking his head.
Gus didn't like it.
The smoke there with the warthog is great, but it was hard to have like the totally damaged warthog, the one that's totally blown up, because it disappears as well. And a problem we have here is any shots that we have that are nearby the warthog. We used to get around like game information, like hit X to board to drive the warthog. We used to get around that by putting someone in the warthog. But now you can either board an enemy vehicle or you can get on it anyway when someoe's in it, like we had there. We actually did that shot right there with Griff and Simmons getting in together, just to show that we could do two characters in one vehicle.
We were showing off.
Show off.
Well, it was kind of fun. Well, it was like, that was a big question we had from season 1 when Griff and Simmons get into the warthog together. People always want to know how we did that. That was like one of the first like non-in-game edits that we did of being able to do that. And so it was kind of almost like a nod to that, like a throwback to that one shot. But so now when we try to shoot, when the cameraman is an actual player, just like anybody else in the game, and so when he gets close to like a scene here where he's shooting Griff in the driver's seat, I'm actually much further away, and I have to use either the zoom in or I have to like get in some just really specific position with the cameraman so I don't get that boarding information on there. And in fact, actually, that shot right there wasn't zoomed in because it had the reticle.
You can't be zoomed in there.
So that was the one where I had to Photoshop it out. Remember? That's where I made the little square and put it over the top. So that one's actually really Photoshopped. And here's one of the first cool things we discovered in Halo 2 is the cool lighting. I mean, that is like that looks totally different from anything else.
I love Doc's arm patch.
Oh, the pill? Yeah. Doc's pill. It just looks so ridiculous on O'Malley. But and like
the ridiculous Lopez head.
Yeah, well, that one's great because it's got the lighting, and basically what we did was we shot Lopez in that same lighting and shot him from above, and then just photoshopped his head out and stuck it back in. The editing stuff the stuff Matt does is pretty sophisticated, like the lightning and the new intro that you put on the DVD. The stuff I do is like so like basic. I mean, you probably wouldn't need more than 10 minutes to recreate any shot. Like the Lopez head, all I do is like just shoot Lopez, then take him into Photoshop, one frame of it, and then like just Photoshop out everything but the head and just stick the head back in Premiere. That's what we use to edit.
You make that sound effect too when you do it?
I do it every time. That's my Windows sound effect. It does that. About, what was it, season 2? when we were recording one day, and I went through and replaced all my Windows system sounds with Jason imitating them. So every time I get like an error, my aim goes doo-doo from Jason. It just sounds just like that. Or when I get an error message,
yeah.
When I get an error message, it's Jason saying glonk.
We're about a third of the way through the movie.
Hey, look, here's a pop culture reference, which always dates stuff.
Crazy.
Which is the Gmail invites. We always try to stay away from like pop culture references, and we made 2 of them this time. We made the Gmail, and we made fun of the Matrix 2 or something like that.
Yeah, we made Matrix in the episode. There was a couple episodes
making fun of the Matrix 2 is timeless.
Stay on the test of time.
Now here we are, first episode without the reticle.
Yeah, and it's
no arm patch.
A new aspect ratio.
Yeah,
and no arm patch.
Well, how are we going to show this theatrically with all these aspect ratios?
That's okay.
There was one.
We're showing it. I mean, people watching DVD now. We do fades between them and things like that.
There was one problem for us in doing this. It was a small problem, but as the amount of screen space we used for the images kept getting larger, our file sizes for the downloads were getting bigger too. It's harder to compress because there's just more information on the screen. Like season 1, it's a pretty narrow aspect ratio, so we can make smaller file sizes. So Bernie spent a lot of time refiguring out new compression schemes so people could download these things easier.
Yeah. People always say, why don't you remove the black bars? And that's what they always ask. To save file size, why don't you remove the black bars? But the way video compression works, the black bars, it works on what part of the image changes. Like if you have a lot of movement, it's harder to compress a video file. And the black bars never change. So getting rid of the black bars and moving it down to where it's just the video information, it really doesn't save that much space. It maybe changes the file size by like 10K sometimes, or maybe 100K, which when you have a 50 meg file really isn't that big a deal. But what happens is a lot of people with players and stuff like that, they can't play a non-square aspect ratio. It just, for some reason, it just doesn't work for them.
It would come out squeezed back into a square or something, looking weird.
Yeah, or it'll just crash the player sometimes, or won't play the file. So it's an invalid format.
I love that shot right there with the windmill turning around. It looks really cool.
Man, everything in Halo 2, all the the motion on the maps and things like that, is it's great. The backgrounds are so awesome.
The textures are just incredible.
Yeah. I mean, like we said, we went back the other day and played Wizard, and it was so different. And it was like it's just textures. Really, it almost looked like you were looking at a pre-visual of the Warlock map. It looks almost like the stage right after wireframes, where they just put up some textures and stuff like that. And then you go and you look at Warlock. We actually set them up. We have here in the office where we do the production. We've got these 3 TVs all in a line for the actors to use for the Xboxes. And we set up Wizard on one in Halo 1, and then the other one we set up Warlock in Halo 2, and it was just crazy to look at the difference.
This scene right here with the Doc thinking he sees somebody over there. We got a lot of questions about that.
Private Jimmy.
Who is it that he's looking at?
It's Tex.
I know. That's what I'm saying. People are asking that question. I know who it is.
Are those people you? Matt will sometimes email Gus with questions about the series. posing as an audience member.
Normally I reply that whatever he's looking for is in the back.
I have 15 Yahoo accounts.
Now this is something we never really talked about, but this is with the skull right there, it's kind of insinuating. Which when we went up to Bungie and looked at the maps, we chose burial mounds to be the first map we were going to use, and we hadn't written the episode at all. This episode was just a big blank spot. We had some ideas for what we wanted to do after the episode, but we didn't know any maps. We didn't know anything. There were some screenshots and stuff, but we didn't know anything about before Halo 2 came out. So we chose burial mounds at the last minute, and the skull right there is almost trying to give the impression that burial mounds is Sidewinder after everything melted. After thousands of years have passed and Sidewinder is finally thawed out, then it's burial mounds, and that skull there is Private Jimmy. Since that's where they were when they got blown up, it would make sense that they would be in Sidewinder.
That skull's a lot more durable than anything that was on Sidewinder.
Sure. Yeah, the bases are gone. The trees are gone, but Jimmy's skull still remains.
He's a tough guy.
He's a little hard-headed, though.
Is that the pushing scene?
Man, talking about that trip to Bungie reminds me of Burger Tex.
Burger Tex? I wish I had some of their delicious goodness right now.
I thought Burger Tex was in Austin.
It's a million
Burger
places.
Master?
Burger
Tex is in
Burger
Austin.
Master.
That makes sense with the word Tex being in
Yeah.
there.
It's
Burger Master. Burger Master is awesome. We ate there like every single meal, I think, when we were up in Seattle.
It's funny how we like mark the places we've been by the terrible hamburger places.
No, it's not surprising when I look at you, Bernie.
Oh, don't let him talk.
See, he's making a joke about how fat.
That wasn't just a regular burn. That was a hamburger burn.
I'm gonna miss Simmons, man. Goodbye, Simmons. It was good to have you in the series.
Simmons 3.0 would be voiced by Bernie.
Remember what we were doing when we saw screenshots and we thought that the reflective mask there, because you see it in screenshots, I thought we were gonna be able to see the cameraman.
Yeah.
In the reflection, and God, it was, there's some stuff that's like that, like cameraman shadow and stuff like that. Now, is we worry about looking at that because it appears on walls and things, which is awesome. We actually used that in the last episode of season 3. But
very cool.
I remember this time period when Halo 2 was coming out. We just didn't know. We just had no idea what we were gonna be able to use and what we weren't gonna be able to use. But like whenever we go on a trip anywhere, it's like the first question we always ask is, do they have free internet access in the rooms?
And then is it a La Quinta so we can have the free waffles?
And now the question is, do they have the waffle maker?
It seems like it's not just La Quinta anymore. Like
a lot of those places have the waffle maker.
Remember we were in College Station had the waffles too.
Yeah.
And the waffle police lady.
Yeah.
I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, dude. It was a whole thing.
Oh, all right.
It's absolutely.
No, everything myself.
Our priorities are way out of whack, man. I mean, that's way out of whack. Doesn't matter how much the room is or anything like that. It's do they have a fucking waffle?
Do they have waffles and internet? Then Gus will stay there.
Waffles and internet.
It's on my rider.
Then Gus can play World of Warcraft on his laptop all night long. Really gets fat on waffles. It's like a nerd heaven.
Here's something interesting. This is coming up on a couple shots in here where we show things that the characters talk about, and this is something that's kind of like a change in, I don't know, style or thematic direction, or I don't know how exactly you put it, but in season 1, there was a lot of stuff where we talked about the characters doing something, but we never actually showed it. And then now in season 3, there were several moments, like in particular later in episode 50, where Tucker talks about the smoking black rocks.
Yeah.
And that was something that we always talked about. It was funny in season 1 because you would never show something like that. But it's funny just to think about it, let the viewer visualize it for themselves. And here, this was, I thought, an interesting scene because Sarge is explaining, or Tex is explaining what's going to go on in the next episode, and we had all those cutaways of Griff being on the windmill.
Yeah, you thought it was an interesting scene. I thought it was a huge pain in the ass.
It was kind of a pain in the ass to shoot.
I remember I left town. This is one of the ones where I wrote it and left town. We went to.
You and I were out of town.
We went to Utah. We were in Utah.
Oh,
yeah, you guys left early.
And they had to. I wrote a scene that I thought was really easy. Like the guys walk in a single file line, and they bitched about it nonstop.
Oh, that's.
Now, you can watch. Here's some stuff you can watch with the bomb. And one of the tough things with the bomb is that the bomb is a light source as well. So anytime anybody gets close to it, it lights up. But all these characters you're seeing right here can't be in the same game as the bomb. Only Sarge here and Caboose can because they're red and blue. And this is assault.
That light source caused endless problems too.
Yeah. Shooting. Like here comes Griff, and you'll see the light's not there, but it's just. Then there's no bomb. That's just all,
we
subterfuge.
We had to Foley that sound effect of the bomb dropping, like dropping weights on your driveway.
Yeah.
And we took
at
my
like
laptop
4
out
in the
there.
morning,
Yeah, we're out there in the 4 in the morning with my laptop and a USB microphone recording. What did we drop? We dropped everything.
We dropped weights and rocks, and I think we dropped your kid once or twice.
Yeah, a lot of sound effects we have end up being like combinations of stuff. Like that was like a combination of a rock and a weight and a bunch of other stuff being dropped, and we just did them all at once. And then we did the shake in there as well. So the visual shake. No, we didn't actually drop a shake. Burger Master.
Never drop a shake. It's like never shake a baby.
But so, and in fact, part of the reason why we brought back the Red Zealot for the scene is we thought we wanted to have him in case we wanted to use him in a scene with the enemies with the bomb. But
he was too funny not to bring back.
It's fun to record him.
Him and Leonard.
I know. I still want to bring back Leonard somehow.
Yeah, well, he's still there. He's still in Caboose's head, so he's with us wherever we go, right?
Yeah.
So.
We could have the Leonard Phil Red Zealot spinoff.
It's all voices.
Yellow
Bernie.
Church.
Max Gaines should be the landlord.
But you see there in the background, Caboose has his back turned, supposedly holding the bomb. In fact, we were trying to find configurations for him where he could hold the bomb, like a weapon he could hold where he looked like he's got a bomb in his hands.
I love Donut pretending to drive the Jeep in the background.
Yeah, we always Donut's was our background guy in this season. Like he was always doing something goofy in the background, playing around with stuff. He's like kind of like supposed to be like the way we were always like playing around the maps trying to find new stuff. And there's a scene later where he rides up the windmill, and that people freaked out by that. Like
who was that? What's going on back there?
And I thought we set it up pretty well because Caboose is playing around in the previous shot. He's playing around on the machine gun turrets, and the next shot it's like Donut, the equivalent of Caboose on the red team, is riding up the windmill. We even talked about adding a sound effect to the DVD of Donut in the background going wee, but we didn't want to watch Dan make that recording. So
it's funny that you refer to Donut and Caboose as the equivalents of each other because when I think of those two characters in real life, they're almost identical.
Oh yeah, Dan and Joel,
people who
in almost every way.
Yeah, they get mistaken for each other on the street and that kind of stuff. So, but here's a great example like the animations you have in Halo 2. Like we have Caboose slowly collapsing under the weight of the bomb.
Yeah.
And you can see it glowing there with the light source.
Is this new stuff we shot?
Yeah, I think this is new.
Sometimes we talk about losing stuff in the black, and in season 1 and season 2, we had a lot of really long rambling, either ad libs or just more dialogue that went on in the black. And
when you say me, you mean. Or when you say us, you mean me, right? Because it's Sarge.
Sarge does a lot. He kind of goes on too much, but in the black we'll have this extra dialogue, and we try to shoot additional footage so we can keep that dialogue in there. And that scene that just went by was one of the few scenes that I wish there was some way that we could have included the graphic instead of the dialogue for the end, because we did add a little shake, I think, to the camera. But what was really funny at the end of the episode, when we have our slate that says visit redversusblue.com for more episodes, Bernie added a shake to that where all you hear is the audio of the bomb dropping, and then to emphasize it, he shook the title card at the end. I thought it worked out really funny. That's the kind of thing you can't include in the.
Well, we could have. It just would have been weird.
It would have been weird to suddenly you're watching the DVD and it says go to the website.
Visit Redverse. We really want to show in the theater. Everybody gets up and leaves.
No, that's about 10 episodes ago when people do that.
There's Griff shot.
Griff in the windmill.
Hey, when did season 3 start?
2001.
It started a while ago.
Last fall, summer.
Yeah, late September, early October, I think.
I think we have a weird thing going on where we always try to do more stuff and try to make everything longer.
Yeah.
Like to somehow justify that, like that we work on this stuff all day.
Yeah.
Like we when we first did season 1 and then we had these 2.5-minute episodes, it took twice as long as it takes to make a 10-minute episode now, just because we're used to doing it now. And in fact, we're to the point now where actually when we do certain shots, we actually know who can do a certain shot better. Like if there's any kind of movement whatsoever, Jeff is not allowed to touch a controller.
He's much better now, and he's definitely like the Halo 2 guy.
He's the Halo 2 guy. Like Jeff does pretty much, probably I would say 85% of all the animations Jeff does in Halo 2.
You guys are too kind.
And then Gus is Halo 1. Whenever we do something in Halo 1, Gus is the guy who does it in Halo 1.
I can't do Halo 2. I don't know what it is. It sounds weird, but something about the turning.
It's odd because you play Halo 2 like 5 hours a day.
Maybe that's it. I play too much.
And that is very aggravating because Jeff never plays Halo 2. And when we go to shoot something, I say, okay, go to the invisibility tower. And Jeff says, where is that? Like at Zanzibar, which I know, like the back of my hand, I tell Jeff to go somewhere, and I say, go to Froman. And Jeff goes, what the hell is Froman?
That was a legitimate problem months ago.
Or you just say turn left, turn right. I don't know.
That's still a problem.
I'm still amazed that you mixed up and down one time.
Hey, man.
This was
I wasn't my shoes.
This is Matt. You did this episode, right? And this is when Gus and I were in Utah.
Oh yeah.
And
where were you in Utah?
The Sundance.
They went early.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
For all the cool Mormon parties.
And this is Mormons. I actually got a hate mail one time for making fun of Mormons when we were at Sundance.
We had about 2 or 3 of those, actually.
Yeah, they take it pretty seriously.
Three Mormons that have computers.
We can make fun. Apparently, we can make fun of everything. But once we do, there's Lopez's head on the turret.
That's so ridiculous.
I think we made Lopez a head just for that shot right there.
No, that one and the one coming up where Tech shoots him off. That's got to be one of my favorite shots of all. Red versus Blue, and she says headshots.
Yeah, that's great.
Whenever show up with like a script and we go over like what we're gonna be shooting for this episode, there's usually like one or two jokes that I have in there that people are saying there's no way we're gonna film these. It's just too stupid. And you remember the Froman joke I had?
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
Oh man,
That was
the little guy.
That was the dumbest thing ever.
That was immediately vetoed.
Were you serious about that? I thought you were joking.
Oh, dude.
No,
what was the joke?
Oh.
I had a thing where they go up to Froman, and I just thought it was so funny that Cam Froman there, and there was gonna be a little guy in the corner, this little man, and they were gonna say, "Who are you?" And he's gonna say, "I'm Froman," and that was gonna be it. Then they were just gonna ignore him for the rest.
Was he gonna say like, "I'm Froman, get away from my spot"?
No, he just said really creepy. He said, "I'm Froman," and then that was it. And Simmons got a little freaked out, and that was it. So it was something that when I showed up with it, I said, "What do you guys think about this? It seems a little weird." And Gus goes, "That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard."
I like it.
It's so dumb.
So Froman was cut.
We'll put it in the episode, season 3 re-release.
Do we know? What's the story behind Froman? Why did they call that area Camp Froman? Was it a guy, a beta tester?
Yeah, I think during beta they had a guy that was up there a lot. At least that's what I got told by someone at Bungie.
Yeah.
But they could be lying.
Who knows? It's
Bunch of
like
liars.
Made up thing. So they apparently there's like in the beta test for Halo 2, the beta testers were. I think just everyone at Microsoft can play Halo 2.
I don't think not everyone, but...
Well, yeah, but it was all Microsoft employees, and so there was some guy named Froman who I guess became renowned for camping up there, so they named it Camp Froman.
Here's a joke that's completely different
Look at the class.
in the way we shot it than was originally in the script. I think in the script the joke was they stand there and they look at the windmill and then alarm sounds or something, and then the windmill speeds up to like 10,000% speed.
Yeah.
And it's going like around like a Cuisinart or something like crazy. Choppy chop, and that's why he says, "See you later, dead man," or whatever he says. But we changed it. I thought it was funny to like have the windmill move at like 0.2 miles an hour.
Well,
they're still afraid to go through it. Also, I was too lazy to speed up the windmill.
Yeah, it was a long day at that point.
Yeah, I remember we downloaded this at the coffee shop when we were in Utah, and I watched it, and I was really looking forward to seeing the windmill go super fast. And we got to that point in the video, and it was like real slow. I was like, what the fuck happened? But no, it was really fun.
Better the way we did.
I was upset that we cut out Froman. And here's the first introduction to Gary, although we don't know it's Gary at this point.
Yeah.
In his recording. And this is different than the shot that I used. Matt did all the marathon stuff. He filmed all the marathon stuff, but I filmed the first shot of Church and Marathon. I think I used Marathon 1.
No,
I
used Marathon 2.
2?
For the first shot. And this is
Marathon Infinity, I believe.
Is it? It looks like the first level from Marathon 1. Looks like the very first.
And this is we.
I couldn't get all the different ones to work for some reason.
Well, we had a Mac. So.
Yeah.
Marathon was
the
a Mac
the
game.
platform it was written for.
Yeah. No, but but right as we did this, I think Marathon went to open source right now, and so people.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised. We got so much mail about the Marathon stuff from people who, like Gus, who played Marathon endlessly when it was out. And then, like, Gus was, like, the old school Bungie fan. I mean, you've been a Bungie fan for longer than anybody here.
Yeah, every time we go up there and visit, I always, like, sneak a few fanboy pictures with posters and stuff.
The Marathon.
Then I gotta play it cool.
I have to say also that Nico helped a lot with the Marathon stuff. He knew a lot about marathons.
Yeah, he
as
did.
well as Gus.
Yeah, like he was. It's interesting because both Gus and Nico were like pretty protective about like
like making sure we did it right. And
yeah, making sure we did it right and like what would be like especially the shot like using the terminal. When I went to talk to Nico about like Marathon and things like that, we talked about the terminals, and out of the terminals, that's where the Gary stuff kind of came from, was using the computers because they were so important in Marathon.
Yeah.
And
they're great characters.
Yeah, and yeah, they're actual characters in the game. So anyway, so we got so much mail about like. First of all, from Halo fans who weren't familiar with Marathon, they were saying, well, what's this game? What's it from? And then from Marathon fans who were just like talking about, it was cool to see it again and things like that. So now that's open source. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a fan project just completely recreate it.
Well, there's a fan project to create like higher res textures for it. You can download textures that look a little better.
We used those.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. It's awesome.
Yeah, it is awesome.
And it's funny because we saw another machinima video that somebody else made, and they used Marathon. We saw it just the other day, as a matter of fact. They used Marathon, and they cut from a scene in Marathon where he's holding the rocket launcher to a scene in Halo where he's holding the rocket launcher, and it was I mean, you can actually see the almost like the progression there. You know, it looked very similar, but just like way low res. So it was really cool. Oh god, swinging the sword. Every time Tucker swung the sword, it was
somebody died.
Somebody died, and it's so fitting that Tucker got the sword because he kills everybody all the time anyway.
And we'll always get into arguments like, "Why are you locked onto someone?" And you say, "No, I'm not locked on to anyone. Look," and then you swing it again. He killed the next person.
Yeah. I think we didn't believe Jeff for a long time.
Yeah.
I think we all had to control the character once and then realize.
Just to see what I was talking about. Yeah.
It was
put that sword near anybody that did.
It was very difficult not to kill a character.
Unless you're Bernie on Xbox Live, in which case you can't kill anyone with a sword.
Man, I can kill anyone with a shotgun. That's my problem.
A pea stick.
Gosh. And that was fun. We got to use the
blue screen.
We got to use the blue screen that they stuck in for the gate. And that's if you're not familiar with Halo 2, which I can imagine you wouldn't be if you're listening to this, but that's the gate. That's the controls used to open the gate. And in a minute, you'll see how we had to like reverse engineer something to get the gate to close. But yeah, the sword is those shots of Tucker that we had. Those are actually zoomed in shots, and we always try to avoid using those whenever we can because they actually in the game when you zoom in. The lens of the camera, like the actual viewpoint of the camera, goes to a telephoto effect where it flattens out the backgrounds, as opposed to like the wide shot.
Makes it look like the background is much closer to him than it actually is. And
yeah,
it looks in the other normal shots.
But in fact, from day one with Halo 2, we could have gotten no reticle on the screen by zooming in the entire time because you don't have a reticle when you zoom in Halo 2.
But it's just like that.
You saw the visor effect, but we could have done it. You know what I mean? But it was just more the flattening of everything with the telephoto effect. That's the main reason why we didn't use it. Which is really, it's really cool to program something like that in.
Here's a Princess Leia effect.
That's funny. That's what I wrote. This is a Matt effect that I would not be able to do. And so when I wrote it in the script, I wrote like Princess Leia. You know that's how Church comes out of here. And I envisioned like movement and like a little 3D hologram.
Yeah.
And
I actually reused a bunch of. I reused a bunch of stuff I'd done for the Simmons teleporter.
Yeah.
Thing.
You told me that was just for me, Matt.
It was. Well, you were the first one. It was originally for you.
You've been replaced.
And then
I'm surprised we haven't heard another train.
Yeah, the train's gonna make liars out of us today.
Yeah. And it's more animation here on the map, like those cool generators in the background with all the electricity on them. We've used those.
Guy, it just looks so cool.
Okay, now here's
not use it.
This shot coming in with Tucker walking in and the gate closing. That was actually shot backwards. That's reversed footage. That the windows shutting are sped up. How did we do that with the windows shutting? I don't remember. At the same time.
Were they cut together, two different shots?
We shot a rocket from outside. In fact, I think you might even be able to see a little bit of the smoke. That's right. We shot a rocket between them from the outside and then sped them up. And we actually had to stop the footage because the physics of the world, the Halo world, they actually swing back and forth. But we wanted to have the effect they were slamming shut. So we sped it up and then like froze the footage when they get shut.
I don't think Matt knew that gate closing was reversed because yesterday or the day before we were shooting something. And
That's
he was
right.
Like, all right. He's like, go ahead and close that gate. I was like, you can't do it. So you're gonna have to start it over.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I'm not. You can close it. That's not no.
Yeah, Matt, and this is all zoomed in stuff here, and yeah, Matt and Jeff play Halo 2 the least. Matt probably the least out of all of us. Matt's not even really a video game guy. What do you play?
I play anything with Wario and anything with baseball. So I'm waiting for a Wario baseball game. If you're listening into
you may not have to wait too long.
Oh yeah?
There was a Mario baseball game at E3 this year.
Ah.
Can't imagine Wario wouldn't make it.
Yeah, let's plug more Nintendo products if we can.
Yeah.
Well, what was really great was all the Xbox 360 stuff.
It's got changeable faceplates.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Wireless control.
Removable hard drive.
Removable hard drive.
It's gonna rock.
Did you see the special on MTV? Awesome.
Yeah.
I've never seen so many beautiful people
I never
playing
liked
video games in my life.
I
I didn't even know that beautiful people played video games. I was surprised. I feel like a beautiful person myself now.
You shouldn't.
The timer on the bomb.
Timer on the bomb.
Got email about that. What side of the bomb is the timer on? Because they can't find it.
Yeah.
So,
it's on the bottom. For people who don't know.
Well, the bomb is the one that talks to you during the game, telling you 5 seconds remaining. Very few people know that. It's actually the bomb narrating the game, and the flag narrates too when you play. But yeah, the reverse of we actually cut. I wanted to make it one long shot, but it was so. There's that little ramp they come over to get in the base when we did that reverse shot on the gate closing.
There's the beard.
You really? The idea we had where the computer would have the beard too.
Yeah, and Gus said, I think, put it on everything.
No, then it would come back to Gary, and he would have 2 beards, and it would come back to church, and there'd be beards all on the wall.
Yeah, the beard stuff was something that definitely went overboard. This was one of Matt's ideas, kind of like my Froman idea, where it's like, I want to give church a big white beard.
Except this is funny. This is the difference.
Yeah, but this one is funny, and it actually.
Actually, I thought it'd be great if we could get everybody else's profile to have on the site to have a beard.
You provided the beard for everybody.
But like, I don't know, I never put it up. I got too lazy or something.
Well, it's just always crunched for time. Yeah,
too lazy. I mean, I wanted to sleep for 3 hours that night.
Yeah, and Gus had an appointment that day, so we couldn't put it up. But this was one of these moments where now that we have the office, I'm like,
That's
Matt and I are in the same room together, and Matt's my back is to Matt essentially, and the whole time he's making this episode or working on this marathon footage, he was so happy with the beard, he was over there giggling nonstop. And I'm like, what the hell?
I was also giggling because it was just like it was a weird computer ad lib to throw in his name being Gary, and I was doing that as a joke for Bernie. That was like we put in a bunch of stuff, or I put in a bunch of stuff for Bernie in the computer lines, just like at the end of his dialogue as jokes, just because I thought Bernie would see it later when he was cutting his stuff in and think it was funny. And the "It's Gary" thing was actually just a joke I was giving for him because his cat, that he had forever, that was like he was chewed on my face all through college. I used to sleep on Bernie's couch all the time, and the cat would come up and like just be chewing on my face. It was a really funny cat. Its name was Gary, so I put that in there for Bernie, and then it ended up being kind of funny, so we just left it in. The computer's name became Gary. I don't think he had a name before that.
No,
did
he didn't.
No. Well, we had the name of the bomb, but it's the Gary came out of that. It's fine. I was seeing when you were telling the story about being on the couch sleeping back in college. It's amazing how little our lives have changed, because the reason you were sleeping on the couch was we were working
on a movie.
We were working on that movie, an independent movie we made, and we were editing in my living room.
Yeah.
Because we built this non-linear editor, and Matt would edit till like 3 a.m. and just fall asleep on the couch, and like the last couple of days, it's what I've been doing. It's like we working on the DVD to fall asleep on the couch, and my wife wonders where I am. There's the rocks.
Smoking rocks.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I don't know if I've told you yet, but I just did all that server work in Sacramento, and I named our new master DNS server Gary.
Oh, is it really?
So
That's
Gary.roosterteeth.com.
I'm sure every hacker is taking notes right now.
Yeah.
Internal network structure.
Because they can't look it up. It's not publicly available.
Is that how it works?
You have DNS?
I don't
Publicly
understand
available.
how that shit works.
Hey, look, it's Captain Flowers.
Hey,
This is episode 50,
Flowers.
Yeah, this is 50.
That's weird. Conversely, what we were saying earlier, it feels like we just made this episode like last week.
Well, I think we just did. I mean, this episode was how long?
7 episodes ago, though.
50 was 17 minutes long.
We had the stupidest grand plan
No,
for episode 50,
God.
and I think it was actually going to be episode 50 was originally going to be episode 50, 51, and 52 all in one episode. It was going to be like a 30-minute long episode.
And it would have. I'm looking at my notes here. It would have been 42 minutes long.
Good Lord, man! And I remember we started and we got as far as, I guess, the recapping season 1, which is basically what episode 50 is.
Yeah.
Changing it, make it from
It was like
church's perspective.
2 19-hour days or something ridiculous like that.
Oh, it was more than that, wasn't it? I feel like we worked on that straight for a week.
Weren't we still working in the spare bedroom at this point?
Yeah, we were. I think 50 was the very last episode we did in the spare bedroom.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. That was kind of
it's a milestone weird for several reasons.
Yeah, it worked out for a couple different reasons. And we were moving the equipment and we even said we're not going to move the equipment until we finish episode 50 because we just need to cram in here and get this thing done. So, but then we broke out 50 to 51 and 52 as well, and that's where the joke from Tucker's thing about tell me the long story but tell it in three parts.
Yeah. That was the internal reference kind of thing.
Yeah, to the fact that it's one episode stretched over. So
here we have Captain Flowers' first appearance, and this is somebody character Bernie talked about putting in for a long time. Church's original commander that died, and then we found the opportunity to have Church kill him off for this, which I thought was hysterical.
And I was happy there's Future Church in the background. We had a little theme for Future Church there.
Nico wrote a great theme for Future Church.
And this was, I was kind of expecting to get tons of email about Teal, why Tucker was in the cyan armor had a different voice, and why Caboose was blue but didn't sound like Tucker. But I mean, people at this point, I guess, have figured it out. You know what I mean? That
I don't think we got one email about that.
No.
We get email about everything.
It really is weird that all these characters look the same and they're just colors, but they I mean, you really do get a feel for
their personality.
Yeah, you know that like you can differentiate between them. You know.
Yeah.
I guess people you get used to watching sci-fi. You get used to like envisioning the people under the armor or whatever. There was a guy on the website, on our community website, who drew pictures of all the characters.
Great job too.
And man, it was amazing. Like he went through like all the episodes and like picked out like little nuances. Like he made Griff fat, you know. And we never wrote in the fact that Griff is fat, but we've always had
We've
jokes.
alluded to him eating too much and smoking too much and all that kind of stuff.
What was the one we had where we had to grease him to put him in his armor? That we cut the jokes, like to get him in and out of his armor, they had to butter him up.
Yeah, what was that? Did that make it in?
No, it never made it into anything. I think it was like a one-off video maybe we made for maybe the Xbox Live videos.
Didn't say something butter or.
I don't know. Yeah, it's like I remember, but it's. I thought it was funny when that was the one I latched onto when I saw Luke Strong's was the Griff one. So if you're interested in seeing those, you can go to the website and look up Luke McKay. He's the guy that made those.
Yeah, he did another funny cockbite image too, didn't he? Do that?
Oh yeah, he did that for my profile, and then he did every character. Like he did Doc. I thought he did great. Simmons, Sarge.
Yeah, I mean they were all really funny.
He did something funny. The one thing he did that was funny, I thought, was he made Sarge shorter than everybody, which I thought was funny. You know,
I've always thought of Sarge as being kind of short for some reason, like short and stocky, you know.
Yeah.
But we should mention here Ed before Captain Flowers is gone from the screen, which I guess he is. He just died. But Ed was, I guess, like our first big special guest, right?
Yeah, it's like
really our only ever special guest. So.
Celebrity guest voice.
It was
Train.
This one's obviously a Northbound.
I hope this one brought me some coffee.
So but you can see now that we've gone back to Halo 1, you can see like the maps and like the textures in the background. You know, it's just like, I mean, I still love Halo. I mean, I played Halo forever, but it's just the graphics are just entirely different. Like the yellow spot on the wall there.
What is that? I always wonder what that is.
I think it's supposed to be like a neon fungus, which is like giving light to the wall to the room.
It's space mold.
Space molds.
You know, and it's just like.
Like it's behind the walls.
You know, the maps. The big thing isn't really like the textures or anything like that. It's really more so like the animation of the maps. You know what I mean? Now like Zanzibar has a huge animation.
Yeah.
You know, and the maps are just like
they're so active now.
Yeah. Like the maps, the environments themselves are. And so we played Halo the other day, and we were in, what was it, Derelict or something? We played and we saw there was a drip. Remember there was like a pipe that was dripping in Derelict, and like. It was really interesting because we never noticed that before in Halo, that there's this one pipe that drips and makes a little puddle on the ground, and that was like their animation for the map for that one.
Yeah, of course it was dripping squares, like these big blocks.
It's we played on the 2600 or something.
Beautifully rendered squares.
Yeah, but I had the stupidest conversation with Jeff the other day. He was talking about his handheld that he bought that I told him was going to be worthless after he bought it, and it's a brand new handheld. I won't tell the name of it because I don't want to bash the product, but I told him it was going to be worthless, and he said, well, I would play it all the time if it had good games. And I said, what the hell? I play my 2600 all the time if it had good games.
It will have good games, and then it'll be worthwhile. And also, you suck.
This was something that got dropped for time, too. Sheila goes through the menu options here. This is where they're going through everything. And this was going to be like I said to Matt, I go, so Church is going to run up to the back of it, and he's going to say to Sheila, hey, I need you to go through your programs. And Sheila's going to pull up this holographic display, and it's going to roll through all this stuff. And Matt just stared at me and goes, yeah, I'm not doing that. It was going to be this, like, I even found the panel on the back of the Scorpion tank that we could use. Like here it is. It's a little square. You can just superimpose this holographic map on there.
I think my actual response was, nah.
Not going to happen.
You had probably just finished all that marathon stuff.
Or he was probably still working on all that marathon stuff. But we did call, I like the thing with Sheila in this. Did it make it into the episode? Calling her Phyllis?
Yeah.
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 Church gives her name?
Yeah.
You know, remember the big, like, season 1 when we first started, and Sheila came online in episode 3, and we had a chance to get the celebrity guest, like, remember all that stuff?
Oh my god. That was our first celebrity, like, guest, trying to get a celebrity guest kind of experience, and it was just a fiasco.
It just seems so dumb.
We wasted so much time on
wasted
that.
so much time. So, and I'm glad.
I won't tell you who any of the celebrities were that turned us down, but
they were big, like Phyllis
they were
Diller.
all stupid. They regret it now, man.
They're regretting now. Can you imagine if we actually had a primary character with a celebrity voice? How hard it would be to get lines from them on a regular basis.
Yeah.
I could barely get Joel to
record. Joel, that's what I was gonna say.
and hear Gus with his appointments. You know.
Yeah, we got enough prima donnas on the staff already.
There's a good example though back there with the leaves where Church is hiding in the bush.
Yeah,
Matt's favorite bush.
Yeah.
There's 2 bushes on Blood Gulch.
There's in the Dr. Seuss tree. Don't forget about Dr. Seuss tree.
Yeah, and the Dr. Seuss trees. And Matt loves those bushes, man. He just thinks they're so lush.
I love them. I feel like I'm on a tropical island when I go to those bushes, man. I'm on a vacation. I love it.
But even when they redid Blood Gulch in Halo 2 and made a coagulation, they found anywhere they could to do like extra animation. Like the teleporters now are actually animated. They have those rotating things on them. And there's nowhere in Blood Gulch where there's no machinery or anything, so you really can't add any more animation. But they even found the one thing they could punch up, you know.
Here's the scene we almost cut. This is the ghost Church talking to Church.
Oh, when he meets himself?
Yeah.
Yeah, because then people say, why doesn't he remember it?
Yeah.
And
there are actually a couple continuity errors, I think, in the time travel stuff.
Time travel's confusing.
But I think we came up with our own justifications for them that we're just going to go with.
Well, it's Church alters the reality, so it's so there's like John Titor says, there's 3.9% temporal vortex variance in our reality.
I think we had a big sniper rifle problem, right?
We did have a sniper rifle problem, but who cares?
What's the sniper rifle problem though? Yeah.
We were trying to figure out
at the end
how sniper rifle got from one area to another, like from one.
Oh yeah. But we worked that out.
Yeah, we did work out a plausible explanation for it though.
Well, how Church gets the sniper rifle to caboose.
Right.
To kill him when they go to rescue tanks.
And then gets it back later.
It's the getting it back that we don't cover.
That's the hard part.
But there's more sniper rifles in the world.
That's right.
Wait till episode 80.
Church, don't forget.
On episode 100, we will explain it fully.
Yeah.
We'll have another flashback.
The only people in the universe that care about that are in this room. So.
Yellow Church was involved with the other sniper rifle.
And the 45 people that emailed about it.
Oh,
that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. I posted the thread on the forum asking what you guys want us to talk about. Season 3. Did you? No, I read it.
Liar.
I read the first 4. Anyway. It's like every other question was, can you mention my name? Or mention my screen profile? Or mention my girlfriend's name? Or I'll give you $50 if you talk about my dog or something. And then every other question besides that was, what the hell is with Yellow Church?
Who offered $50 to talk about?
Some guy offered $50 and then another $100 if I got his name pronounced correctly.
Oh, really? Let me look him up. We'll get that money right now. Yeah, okay. Hold on 1 second. Let me get my laptop fired.
Jeff will do it for free. I heard him do a radio promo for free yesterday for some band.
Oh, no. I'm getting paid for that.
You did a radio promo?
I did a radio interview yesterday.
He mentioned some band he's never heard and then said what his favorite song of theirs was.
Jesus Christ, did you really?
Did you do it as Jeff or as Griff?
I've actually heard the band.
Did you say, hi, this is...
Post doing the interview?
He said, hi, this is Jeff from some internet thing you've never heard of.
This is Private Dexter Griff, and I just want to say System of a Down rocks.
Yeah. New album in stores January 3rd.
This album drops.
This album's out of this world.
Quick plug.
Oh.
Yeah, plug.
I got a plug.
Do you ever wonder why we're here? It's to listen to the new Missy Misdemeanor Elliott album, that's why.
What did you do really?
This is Brett from Red vs. Blue for Ludacris. Pick up the album in stores now.
Ridiculous.
That's not our four. If you're looking at that guy's name up.
This scene, is this the one or is it later? When Church, I guess it's in, at the end of 51. I get confused about these episodes because we split them up. But Church goes in, and I could not figure out which way Church was supposed to go into the base and come out of that. Remember that? I had to reshoot it a couple times.
Yeah, because the base is symmetrical once you get in there.
Yeah. And it's like they come out one side, but I guess they go through the little alleyway and come out the other way. I was totally confused when we were shooting that.
You know, and it's something you always do too. Like when in any kind of filmmaking, is you always monkey with geography. Like you can recreate a good example is Lost. That's a show we all watch. And the airport that they use in Lost is actually the convention center. There in Hawaii, that's what they use for the airport. And you can turn anything into anything. Like you can change hallways up or anything like that. Like in some places we've used different maps for interiors as than the exterior. Like when somebody walks into a room, it's a different interior somewhere else. We've done that occasionally.
There's a great line here.
Oh, the front of my face.
Thank you.
And I'm always worried when we do it that just like people who watch Lost and live in Hawaii, they know it's the convention center. Yeah. And the only reason I know that is somebody posted it somewhere. That they every time they watch that scene, it bugs them because it's the convention center. But people are so intimately familiar with these maps.
Yeah, it's a virtual space that so many people live in.
Yeah. I'm always worried that the people that watch it obviously like Halo, so they're gonna know it. I'm always afraid when we like monkey with stuff a little bit. Like it's usually done like in battle scenes.
My other favorite line from this episode, which we can't hear. I don't know why I'm pausing to hear the line.
Yeah, what is it?
That's the line where he's saying "fuck this horse shit" when he's firing at the grenade going up. You know what? That was some of the stuff is recreated. Obviously, that was recreated because
that took forever to find that spot too. Where the grenade was. We
had so much time trying to recreate that grenade going through the sky shot.
Yeah.
That like getting it to match exactly what it was in season 1. It still doesn't match exactly, but
it's pretty close.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. It was a lot of work.
Then we shot a couple extra things in here.
See that shot where he's turning to the right there? Like everything we went back. I remember we had to go back and watch season 1 for all those to like match the shot. Like because when we reveal that O'Malley has infected Caboose, he's turned that direction. So we want to make sure he turned that direction to keep the continuity. So even though Matt says we screwed it up, we actually did spend a lot of time doing it, which was aggravating.
We did spend a lot of time doing it, but there's like certain things just in terms of the timeline that are like almost impossible. And that happens in every time travel movie. I think it's kind of fun though,
especially because we didn't set it up. We didn't know. I mean, we had no idea in season 1 we were going to come back in time and monkey with all this stuff.
I remember.
I knew in season 2 we talked about season 2.
We talked about when Halo 2 was going to come out. We're like, do you think people are going to accept Red versus Blue in Halo 2? And maybe we should do something where we have the opportunity to go back to Halo 1 if we need to for some reason.
Yeah.
But we didn't ever figure out what that was going to be until we actually got to episode like 49, right? I think.
Yeah, we were not entirely sure going into the launch of Halo 2 when Bungie was putting it out. We weren't sure we were going to use Halo 2 at all.
Yeah.
For Red versus Blue. Yeah.
We
didn't know. First of all, we didn't know we could.
Right.
And we didn't. If we could actually be able to do machinima in Halo 2, we didn't know about it.
Combat on the Atari 2600 was looking really good.
Yeah. And even when we were up there shooting that first episode, was it episode 43?
Mm-hmm.
It seemed like there were so many things that were different about Halo 2 that now when you look at it, it's like they're negligible differences really in terms of like animation style and things like that. But we weren't used to them, and we were so used to Halo, Then we was like, can we do this? It doesn't look the same, We were freaking out for no reason.
Nope, not at all. And it's
you're a little baby.
You were freaking out. You were like, I can't bob this head and all that stuff. That's why I remember it. That's why I've told everyone on this DVD.
Where
delete your uh-uhs from this commentary.
No way. Can't delete my no ways.
You were too busy eating your Burger Master to notice.
Fuck yeah.
But it was funny when we went up there how we test the game versus like what they were used to, because they were in the last week.
They were laughing at us, man.
They were in their last week of like before launch. I mean, they really weren't doing testing at that point, obviously, because they were producing the discs. They were manufacturing, but they were so used to that whole like testing environment where they were like testing
playing
gameplay stuff and things like that. But that's not the way we do it.
Yeah, we're like sitting there in their offices, and we're trying to see how close we can get the guys to each other, and they're just standing there looking at each other, bobbing heads, and.
I remember we were so impressed by how close we could get the
characters. Yeah, we're like, look how close they are, and then all of a sudden, some sniper shot comes from like across the map, and all of a sudden one of our characters is dead, and we're like, what the hell? Some of those guys had joined into our game. They were tired of just watching us just stand there.
And there was like the room we were in. We were like with the door closed and all kind of sealed up in there, but there was like a little, like a window, And I remember like somebody like walking by and like giggling outside, and I didn't know why he was giggling at us. And then a second later, a character.
No, I saw that happen too. I'd look over and there'd be some guy standing there like holding a cup of coffee, just shaking his head.
Like what a bunch of retards.
Like we made this game.
He just spent his whole life doing this, and we're like in there,
like standing,
looking at it.
Yeah. It must have looked. I want to know what it looked like too, to their perspective, because it must have looked just so stupid to see like 3 characters all bunched up together.
Not hitting you, not doing.
Not doing anything. Just like standing there, and if you're playing the game, that's like the perfect opportunity to get 3 kills.
And
really easily.
And it was cool because like there's so many Xboxes in that place. Yeah. That when you go to join a game, there's like 10 games.
Yeah.
And you can like drop into the game. So we were like one of the games on the network there, because we were those Xboxes we were using were on the network, and so people would just drop into our game occasionally. It's like the sniper thing, but there weren't people playing pranks always. It was like randomly we'd just get some guy come in, and he'd run up and like just start shooting people, and we'd be all bunched up. And it must have been, from his perspective, really weird, because he starts shooting these guys, and then they all just turn and look at him, because we want to see who's shooting us, so you have to turn in the game, but like all these guys like creepily just sit there and stare at him, and like they'd like Then he'd like put his gun down, and we didn't have headsets. He might have had a headset, whoever it was that was in there, and he just kind of stood there for a moment, and then he kind of like backed away.
Yeah, it was awkward for him.
And then he just logged off. Like all of a sudden he's just gone. So, but I always wonder what that guy thought.
That was pretty funny.
What the heck was going on from our stupid testing that we were doing? It was tough though. Like part of the reason why season 3 is probably taking so long is we started season 1 when Halo had been out for a year and a half or 2 years.
Yeah, it'd been a while.
It'd been a while. Like Halo had been out a long time, and when we started Red versus Blue, but Halo 2, I mean it's still like what 6 months old at this point, barely 6 months old. So, you know, just like any video game, we were playing Halo less when we started Red versus Blue, so it wasn't as tempting all the time to stop and play. You know, now when Halo 2 came out, hell, I mean we were playing as much as we were doing Red versus Blue stuff, you know.
Probably more.
Well, probably more.
Also,
yeah.
just having a year and a half to learn the idiosyncrasies of the game and what you could do with it, what you couldn't, and stuff like that. We were learning as we go on Halo 2.
Yeah,
but
I'm just saying from like a standpoint of like the game was a distraction.
Taking too much time away.
Yeah, it still is. Jason is every time we're working. Jason's always we have one Xbox. It's always on Xbox Live my account. I would add that you're always using my goddamn account.
But I'm always on Team Training.
Or?
Team Slayer.
Yeah, Team Slayer.
But you were at 1 and I was bringing you up, dude.
Doesn't matter, you're still affecting my stats.
Bringing you up in the world.
I tell you what bugs me is that, like, it's almost like a thing with me now where I'm afraid because people can go to Bungie.net, you can look up, like, how many games you've played. And before they did the reset, I had played, like, 1,200 team skirmish matches. 1,200. And that's just like, yeah, that's sad comment on my life, I think, that I played that, and I was still only level 13. Just say you have 1,200 games played, and you have like 380 wins. That's not good. It's even more. That's why I never play Rumble Pit, because you can have like 300 games and like 7 wins. You know, at least I can. Yeah. All right, now I'm on the forum here. I got my laptop. I got the forum up.
Did you find
Yeah, I got your thread here. Will the season 3 DVD be out soon? Yeah.
I guess we could talk about that in the commentary.
I guess, yeah, it'll be out soon.
Yes, is the answer.
It'll be out a few days ago. Can you mention my Scream name? There we go. Good Lord. Please elaborate on Yellow Church if there's anything to elaborate upon.
Make fun of Gus as much as possible. +5 ditto.
Fucking
banned.
That guy just got banned.
Find everybody who dittoed him, get banned him too.
Just
somebody asked also, will the DVD? I said, what do you want us to talk about in the commentary? And somebody said, will the DVD be as much? Will it cost as much as the last 2 DVDs? It's like, you want us to talk about that in the commentary? It's like, you already have the DVD at that point. I know how much it costs.
Yeah, we made a mistake in the last commentary of joking around, telling people to email us for the picture of the closet.
Oh my god,
that was endless, man.
Right.
Still going on.
Oh yeah, we still.
Actually, there was a thread. There's a thread about that the other day, like a new one, and somebody shut it down very quickly, saying, "Here's the picture, here's the post, here's this thread.
Go away."
Go away." Yeah.
I remember we always read the forum comments extensively after we put on an episode or anything like that, and this was one I think after episode 50 that was like 18 minutes. Somebody wrote on there. That was pretty good for a clip show, and I was like, a clip show?
You son of a bitch!
It was like the hardest episode we've ever produced,
yeah.
You know. And although 38 was probably the hardest, but
it was pretty good for a clip show, though.
Oh my god, clip show. You know, because I know how aggravated I get when you watch like The Simpsons or something and see a clip show. It's just like they waited.
Hey man, it's like Back to the Future 2.
I think Friends had like 45 clip shows, like where they showed previous episodes. But man, we filmed.
I think the whole last season was a clip show.
What are you looking at me for? I'm a dude. I don't know. I don't watch Friends.
Well, it came on. I had to TiVo that or Felicity, so it was a tough choice for me.
So you and Matt had your little Thursday night panty parties. Paint your toenails.
Read Us magazine.
Dream about Schwimmer.
We call him Schwimmy.
Schwimmy.
So are there any good comments in that thread?
No one has anything intelligent to say. It's just
who's the guy who's gonna give us $50?
That's what I'm trying to find. I want to mention his name.
He's on the first page. It's one of the first few posts. That's all.
Is he?
Yeah.
So they said,
I want $50, man.
Relate things from season 3 to memories from your childhood. And if such memories do not exist, then please make them up.
I guess the Gary thing is that wasn't in our childhood, but I mean it was a while ago.
How about something from my childhood? How about the fact that I'm playing video games at 32?
I used to have a babysitter named Sheila.
Did you?
No.
No.
I made it up.
Oh, God, there you go.
I used to dual wheel bottles as a baby.
Find some way to mention e-drama and friend requests. They want us to talk about the e-drama on the forum, which is
dramatic.
The way of This person wrote a ton of stuff.
Yeah, he had a couple good comments actually. Good questions, I should say.
What is that?
It's just on the internet. It's a way people post on the internet. Instead of posting something funny, they just post a picture. And this guy wrote put a picture of Einstein saying, "Stop thinking so much about it." And Einstein is writing on the board. The car wasn't there. There was no driver. His armor changed colors. Nobody speaks Spanish. Very funny. Very funny.
E = RVB squared.
So I would mention something.
This shard here is another thing we get questions about. The please don't release the prisoners, and then it says thanks management. I was hoping that was short for management, MGT period, because I've seen that other people do that, and everybody wrote in, who is MGT? I got learned about this new character MGT. He sounds cool.
He was cut too. Gus had a voice for that, but we cut MGT.
I guess MGT could have been Max Gain.
Explain what a shizno is. Didn't we explain in the episode?
Explain what a shizno is. That's later in the episode. In the movie, I mean. Point out the word caboose in the Bulletin Battle Creek, episode 50, about 50.
I remember Bernie got so mad about that. We were making caboose when we were doing it because it was like the middle of the night and we fucked up.
How did we fuck up?
No, we didn't. We did caboose.
At first,
it was you disappearing bullet holes.
Yeah, like it started looking like it was all crooked and.
Well, it's because you were like, I think it was me. You were like, I'm gonna do the first half of the word, you do the last half, and then when you looked at mine, you're like, what the fuck are you doing?
I remember
look like an ass.
You were so mad.
Yeah. We I forget when I stopped pulling punches on stage direction, but it was sometime around like the end of season 1 where it's just like, no, faster.
It was definitely in season 1.
Yeah. That's like the bad moment. It's like the Nick Burns moment too, where you just give up. It's like, give me the controller. Hand it to me.
So what else did they say besides after the caboose?
Explain how Lopez shot a turret with only his head. So
teeth.
Yeah, he's got a tongue.
Duh.
Nobody asks how Homestar can hold a drink when he's got no arms. So it's part of the magic of the internet, the physics of the internet. You don't need arms to do anything. Whereas it's the internet physics model as created by the Brothers Chap. They're the standard.
He was he logged on to the website to fire the turret from over the internet.
That's right. It's a remote control turret. Cybernetic controls. It's the future, man. Come on.
Come on.
Who needs hands in the future?
Definitely not Lopez. He's going places.
Doesn't even need English.
No manos.
No manos. Yeah. Me amo. No manos. And there's the destruction of Halo again. That was taken from the last cutscene in Halo 1. We pretty rarely use the cutscenes, but every now and then we do it. Like for the Pelican in Season 1 and then this one. And then used it for the AI.
Yeah.
Which that was Season 2, and I think there's always something I want to change about that, because when we did the character profiles.
Here's the beginning of the 50 churches.
Here they pop in. Where's the yellow church came in right there for a brief second.
Uh-oh.
So ridiculous.
What do you remember any of the lines that you were babbling in the background, like all the churches are talking to each other?
I remember there's an old theater thing where they say if you're in the background and you can't think of what to say, just start repeating peanut butter, peanut butter, peanut butter, peanut butter, peanut butter, and because it's supposed to be like.
That's the way your mouth looks.
Yeah, just like your mouth is fine. It's like a lot of syllables and things like that. And so at one point, one guy says, like they're all babbling, and one of the guys says to one of the other guys, "What the hell are you talking about peanut butter for?" But nobody actually says peanut butter. But I don't think you'd be able to pick it out. But that's where that came from. And there's a ghost church in the background.
A lot of people think that's, for some reason, a lot of people have thought that was the cameraman. And I thought, how could you think it was the cameraman? You're seeing the shot the cameraman is shooting.
There's a mirror.
That's right.
We actually stuck a mirror into the shot. And
it was a ghost of a kid walking behind Steve Gutenberg.
Yeah, that's what it was. Somebody had lived on that cliff in Sidewinder, and there'd been a murder there, and so that was the ghost of the kid. But I like the overlay that you did, we haven't done any overlays. I don't think, like the security things. We haven't done any overlays like that in Halo 2. We did the curtains.
The curtains, yeah.
I don't think we've done any straight overlays because.
Well, we did the Princess Leia thing. That was kind of more complicated.
But not like a direct overlay kind of thing like
just
we do.
Just slapped on?
Yeah, we slap it on.
Yeah.
That's how we do it. We like slap it on
any
there.
like signs or anything?
And they're supposed to be ridiculous. Like they're supposed to be like when Caboose's notes up on the base.
Wall,
yeah. And the first one we did, the reason why we stuck with that, Matt could actually probably do them a lot better. But I did the first one in when Church died. Was it PSA number 2, the hidden PSA, where we put the picture of Church on the wall with the flowers around it?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. That's the PSA that we only had for sponsors, right? And everybody kept
like
asking
40
to get.
seconds long.
It's like a 30-second PSA, but everybody wanted to see it.
I remember I saw some thread like everybody's like, why can't we see PSA number 2? And then somebody else found it like on a peer-to-peer or something. I was like, I found it. It sucks.
Well, it's like people asked about that one so much, but the reason why we didn't want to put it out there is because it was so lousy. And there's Yellow Church. And now we're punishing people for asking for it for so much by making them watch Gus's episode 45.9.
The greatest episode ever.
Oh my gosh.
I enjoy it.
I would love to see making of footage of that thing.
I was giggling the whole time. I was fucking cutting out that cardboard.
Gus was so proud. He talked about it forever. He was so proud of that episode.
It's great.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about it, Gus?
I'm actually in talks with DreamWorks right now to option it, so I can't really talk too much about it.
Oh my god.
I can understand how that would be a property they would want to develop. The popsicle stick movie. So I'm looking at the forums some more, trying to find somebody to ask a legitimate question to answer.
Let's just start spouting off screen.
This guy actually said something interesting. He said, you should make 2 commentaries, one from the Texas crew and one from the LA crew, which we did on season 1.
We did, and it turned out horribly. No, season 2.
Season 2.
Season 2?
Man, it turned out so bad. I can't remember why it turned out so bad, other than, well, yeah, I can actually not think about it. I'm not going to tell you why, but man, it was not good. We get that on file somewhere.
That was season 2.
If we ever
sure that was season 2?
No, I think it was season 1.
It was season 1.
If we ever want to blackmail
ever release
certain members of the cast, we'll release that, but...
Certain members of the cast who live in LA?
Yeah.
Yeah, because season 2 is the commentary we had to delete because I got drunk.
Season 2. God.
Oh, man.
And
this is alcohol.
And we had to remove the commentary.
Peanut butter.
Cause I made Gus so mad during that.
It was, yeah.
Gus was livid.
It was so late at night, and I knew we were never gonna be able to use that commentary.
And Gus had an appointment at like 3 a.m. Yeah. So we had to cut it short, and man, Gus, you left the room.
I did, because I knew it was a waste of time.
I was drunk, and even I realized you left the room.
That's the very end of our clip show. Right here.
Don't call it that.
How many times are we gonna watch this fucking experience?
Jesus.
Hey, it's time travel, dude. Be glad we didn't show the vortex again. Aren't you glad it didn't say
Train.
Aren't you glad it didn't say banana?
Train.
What is that? Number
Train
3?
number 3.
Only 3?
It's lame.
I'll buy it.
I've been here.
So at this point, we're an hour and 40 minutes in. This is where season 2 was done, right? Season 2 was about an hour and 40 minutes.
Is that right? Yeah, because season 2 was 30 minutes longer than season 1, and season 3 is 30 minutes longer than season 2.
Shit. We're gonna,
You know, the crazy thing too, like about
season 4 is gonna be longer than
we have a
Gandhi.
7-disc box set for season 4.
like whenever we show Red vs. Blue Anywhere, like in the theater, we show season 1 because you can't start in the middle with season 2. You know, you kind of have to show from the beginning. And when we watch episodes 1 and 2, the first ones we did, they're 2 minutes and 30 seconds. The first episode is.
They could probably.
It could probably be about a minute long.
Yeah.
And I think we actually recut episode 1 just recently.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, and we shaved a minute off of it. It's like a minute and 30. You know, so now the way we cut and how fast the dialogue moves, it's totally different. There are times in episode 2 where it's like there's like a 2-second pause.
Yeah.
It seems like between stuff. And it's,
Episode 2 is like a 3-minute video that feels like 18 minutes when you watch it.
Yeah, not the best. Season 1 is
Also, somebody else was playing.
available in stores now though.
That's right.
After we're talking about it so greatly.
Different actors were also playing Sarge and Caboose in season 1.
It's what
At
it seems
least
like,
according
yeah.
to the forums.
Yeah, not true. Please don't
Yeah, it's not
email
true.
and ask.
Yeah,
It's the
it's
same
not
people.
Yeah, we got a lot of emails after season 1 asking why we had changed the actors for Caboose, but really Sarge is to me the most different.
Sarge is the most different.
Doc is really different when he shows up, and 2 episodes later he's a totally different character.
Doc is okay that he's different though. I mean, I feel like that was a natural progression for him because he had to become more whiny and kind of, you know, lame, basically, to be more of a foil and an opposite force for O'Malley, who's so over the top in the other direction. You know.
You want to see the Einstein picture?
That's what I've seen it.
But not thinking too much.
I'm not remembering it, but
I like the character arc that Phil took. Like in the first part of the scene, where he's kind of like depressed.
Tell us some more, Valentino.
What a sucky character arc.
Valentino, what was that?
The actor Valentino, the great silent actor.
Oh my gosh! What the hell?
How old are you?
I'm 29.
It's like when I made the Henny Youngman reference the other day.
Who's Henny
Valentino's
Youngman?
universally known.
Nobody knows who Valentino
Oh.
is. Dude,
is he an ice skater?
We made a reference to John Wayne in episode 57. People didn't know who John Wayne was.
Was that
I think our audience is like 8 years old. Who's John Wayne? Who the hell is President Reagan?
We should be making more references to Rugrats.
Man, when I saw that, who is John Wayne, I almost killed myself.
What, didn't someone say that on Xbox Live?
Yeah, it was on Xbox Live.
I don't want to drop any names since we're not going to drop everyone's name. But
Yeah. It was, so we played it on Xbox Live. And then they corrected themselves and goes, I think he was a cowboy or something, right?
Just like Caboose. What's going on in this scene?
This is a good example of how we had to like move people away from the warthogs to avoid those avoid the messages that come up and things like that. This is when they're.
What are we at? Like 52? No,
Yeah.
53. This must be 53, right?
We're an hour and 46 in. Let's turn it up. I mean, let's do it.
this is monkeying around.
Oh, this is
Monkeying
Monkeying Around
About.
episode. This is where or Monkeying About. Yeah, this is basically this is the episode where we debut Andy. Like we're trying to figure out who.
Do we really want the audio turned
yeah,
up? Because what if
something
it's
like
not synced with the DVD exactly?
Andy was a character that just came up out of the blue when we were screwing around one day. I think we were still working on Gary at that point, and we were gonna have Andy back.
Is that another train? It's the same train.
Where are you?
That's another train.
That's another trend.
We were gonna have Andy.
Thank
back
God we have
in-
Jason here to interrupt the commentary with train information.
We were gonna have Andy back in episode 50 or 51, right? And then
Say it again. Jason was making.
We were gonna
jokes.
have Andy, the bomb character, first talk in episode 52 is when he was first gonna talk, and we couldn't get it cast. We kept trying to get it cast, and finally we ended up casting Nathan Zellner, who what are you looking at? Trash can.
Sorry. We're interrupting here with a stupid picture we saw on the internet. It's a picture of Gus naked. That's why we're all laughing. But when you say like he came up out of the blue, I mean Andy was created as a very specific device.
But we hadn't written up that far. It was just like we were sitting around, and you said, "Hey, it would be really funny if the bomb talked."
No,
right?
we made him talk for a reason.
Well, I know that the other reason, but
Yeah.
I mean, when it actually came up for the first time.
No, that's why. That's why I had to come up with a way for him to talk.
This is
Okay.
interesting.
No, I know,
It
but
seemed
we're,
like it
we're
was out of the
talking
blue,
around
right?
something. Like in season 4, Andy has a very specific role, and so
Right.
And the reason why it's Andy is because it couldn't be Gary. Originally,
We
it was
know
going
it.
to be Gary.
Yes. It couldn't be Gary.
Yeah, because Gary can't. But Gary's not.
But then
mobile.
didn't we figure that out after the initial inspiration of wouldn't it be funny if a bomb could talk?
No, I'm sure it was extremely well planned out, and like,
Okay.
I'll have to go back to my outline.
Anyway, we couldn't get the character cast.
I'll have to talk to my assistant.
It took forever.
Yeah, it took
And
forever.
And Nathan, finally we found Nathan, who's I think perfect choice for Andy, which was good because we had made Nathan audition for probably like 18 roles
Yeah.
before that, and just like nothing ever, it didn't quite gel every single time. It's like never quite right. But
Well, I usually just gave myself a line.
that's right.
Something. Yeah, so it was nice.
But we were glad to have him.
We use his brother David in another series we do. He plays Sam.
He plays Sam. That's right.
Yeah, he plays
In
Sam.
Strangerhood.
And Nathan was gonna originally play Chalmers in that, but now it was a nice season for Red vs. Blue.
Someone emailed the other day and suggested that we create a spin-off series with Donut, Caboose, and Wade.
From 2 different games. That makes sense.
I've got a funny story about how I met David Zellner, but nobody's gonna hear it on this commentary.
Yeah, please don't. We don't want to delete this commentary either. And now you can leave up the imagination of everyone listening.
You guys can email Gus and he'll tell you about it.
Oh my
God.
god.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Now everyone's...
That's
nah,
not
you just
fair.
bummed Gus's email from like 9 months. How did Jason meet David Zellner?
Gus at redversusblue.com.
Jesus Christ.
Bernie and I used to work at this TV station at University of Texas, and David and Nathan did stuff down there as well.
Is that how you met them, Jason?
All right.
And there was they would always be down there working on stuff, and the TV station was down in a basement.
Yeah.
And it used to get bats. We have bats. We have a lot of bats in Austin, and you used to get bats down in that TV station like crazy because it was down underground, and they like to kind of like darken the moisture down there. And there was one time when David was working really late. I guess you were down there too, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he ran out of the editing room screaming his head off, like going crazy, and it was because a bat was flying around in there chasing him, trying to like nest in his hair or something.
Yeah, and I had a video camera running, and I think we used the scream on the schedule in an independent movie we made.
Yeah.
We like sampled that scream and used it. It was great. Oh, like see how like shots like that, like all the stuff in the Warthog now is great because Simmons can sit in the Warthog without a weapon in his hands, and like the head motions and things like that, and like Griff, the way he can look around and stuff is really cool.
He's just chilling.
By the way, I thought it was great how you subtly worked in the schedule now twice in the commentary and TSTV.
For release in 2007, sketch. Quick plug.
You think the last one was subtle, by the way? Wasn't doing my job. The one of the things that, like, this is the Warthog they supposedly found on burial mounds, which had like it was completely demolished, including the windshield was broken, and it's like I always wondered where did they get the windshield from.
They actually took sand off the ground and
Using a lens.
telescope to.
And once again, here we are. We're gonna use Andy a lot in the next season, but it's always kind of a thing to film around him because, once again, only Caboose can be seen with Andy. In the same shot. Tucker can't be seen with him. Tex, nobody else can. So
that'll be fun for season 4 for us.
It'll be
Good
fun.
thing
Maybe
we
we
got
should
rid
bring
of
Ghost Church
Ghost
back
Church
at the
back.
same time. Yeah.
We can have ghost bombs.
What were our other really tough shots this season? I think the bomb thing was definitely the hardest. That was like our Ghost Church of this.
57 had some hard stuff coming up with the Robot Army, which I guess we'll get to soon.
The the stuff with the battle, the Robot Army coming up was really, really tough.
You mean the thing I just mentioned?
Did you? I like to give credit for your ideas. No, I was thinking about the other battle sequence before the
one with the schedule?
No, the one.
Was it the one you did in college at the TV station?
Some of the bats followed O'Malley.
Don't you have an appointment to go to or something?
Don't you have another joke you can use?
It's been 2 hours. That's called repetitive humor. It's very funny. I used it in season 2.
Yes, the red.
I did notice
Zealot Army.
What?
That's very difficult.
You know what? Oh, the Red Zealot.
Here's the first appearance or first discussion. No, not appearance certainly, but first discussion of Shizno.
Yeah.
We get a lot of questions about what is Shizno.
Yeah. There's lots of. We should just want to come up with our own insult to use to. It's not like our own dirty word that we can use. Shizno.
Doesn't sound dirty enough to me.
I love it. Matt really loves it. He made a profile on the forum. Actually, he made a profile called Shizno as a joke.
You're giving that away?
Matt didn't do that.
Oh, come on. You think that anybody...
That was Shizno, man. That was me.
So I made a profile on the forum called Shizno, and then Matt immediately took it over and started posting his Shizno on the forum.
I like it. Other mods complain to me, what are you doing? You're spamming all these threads. You can't do this. So I made myself a mod. And then I would lock my threads and I would unlock them.
You can get banned for that, man.
I know. Oh, it would suck if they banned our IP.
See that subtle church head turn there?
Yeah.
Really do that stuff well in Halo 2.
Yeah.
You have a lot more control over that.
Jeff loves his Halo 2, man.
Halo 2 is great.
You got the tropical tree in the background and everything.
I hear it's a game too. I don't know.
Yeah.
Check
play
that
some
out
stuff.
someday. Yeah.
But is there any baseball in it?
There's no
play it if
there's
you
no
did.
Wario.
There's no silent film actors.
Yeah, Valentino.
Valentino does not make a guest appearance in Halo 2.
This one thing I really like about like Zanzibar especially is like it's one map, but there's like 14 locations in the one map. There's a beach, there's that wall, there's that tower, there's the gun turrets. You know, there's all these different places, and there's inside the base, and like these guys might as well be on two different maps for where the reds are and where the blues are, and then O'Malley shows up, and it's like in Halo, like Blood Gulch, a lot of the maps are symmetrical, so it's like everywhere you go is like has a component somewhere else in the map, whereas in Halo 2 there's a lot more asymmetrical maps, which is really cool. It's like a for lack of a better term, it's like a real location. You know, it's different places.
It is. It's really nice, really diverse.
I love this stuff, man. I love this stuff with Simmons not having a weapon in his hands. Here, the head bobs to me look really cool.
Good old donut.
We missed Donut riding up the windmill. It must have gone by when I was jabbering about something like Valentino.
I'm really wishing right now I had not had a bunch of coffee before we started this.
Is there coffee out
What?
there?
I don't think there's any.
Oh man.
Don't enjoy the coffee.
Well, because it's a 2-hour and 20-minute movie. And
I got up and went to the bathroom.
You have to go pee-pee?
I'll be right back.
You can make some coffee while you're out there, dude.
You know, we're doing this commentary like probably 2 weeks after the last Star Wars episode came out, and obviously we're big Star Wars fans, and it was really sad because I'd been traveling. Like I went to one of our events and been traveling a bunch that week, and I was in a movie theater watching episode 3 and I actually fell asleep twice during the movie, and I've never fallen asleep during a movie ever. I thought how pathetic that as a little kid when I saw Star Wars in the theater, if I'd have known I'd have grown up to be this guy like falling asleep during the very last Star Wars movie. It certainly wasn't any comment in the movie, but it was just like really sad that I was so tired I couldn't even stay awake through the whole thing.
Yeah, life's hard.
One of the things I wished in multiplayer that we had for Halo 2, which would be fun, is if the sword could run out of ammo like it does in campaign, because then we could have the sword on and off. You know, you could like turning it on and off. That'd be great. Remember one of the first things that somebody asked was about Halo 2 was, will you be able to dual wield swords? And it's like the sword is a one kill weapon. How in the world? I can barely use a sword as it is. I don't know how I'd do it if it was 2 people. Here's a great example of the animation, the walking animation, because in Halo 1 they'd be doing that like almost like that slow motion run when he comes out. But I like the walking so much more, and it definitely helps later when we get to like the robot army and stuff like that. If all those guys were like running in super slow motion, it'd just be kind of weird looking. This is a throwback to season 1, the fast motion going between stuff.
Oh yeah.
That shot took forever to set up.
Yeah, that shot right there, just getting all those guys in a line was really tough.
Yeah, life's hard.
That's where that's where being able to nudge characters really comes in handy.
No, sorry, I was laughing at the question. Question mark.
What are you taking a picture of?
Let's do an audio.
You should.
If you want to copy that picture, email Jason at redversusblue.com or Jeff at redversusblue.com.
JEFF@redversusblue.com.
I'll make that for you, motherfucker. I'll set that up.
Oh my gosh! Well, we're gonna have to include that on there now. But like on this DVD, we have when we did the character profiles, it was like writing the character profile is supposed to be like just backstory fiction stuff that we really can't show, like how everybody joined up and things like that. Essentially before they got in the armor. And I remember I had to go back and like watch season 1, season 2, because now we've got 4.5 hours of content with this stuff. So it's kind of hard for me.
It's more than anyone would ever watch. That's
yeah.
for sure.
It's probably like 5 hours of content.
It's to the point now where it's really hard for me to like keep all this stuff straight in my head. Like I'll write something for a character. I'm like, does that make sense for that character?
Yeah. You know? What's happened in the back? In the past with that character that would be, contradictory to him doing that. It's hard to remember.
The worst fucking part about it is I go to talk to you guys about it, and I'm like, hey, Dan, do you think Donut would say that? Does Donut have anything you've had a line before where he talked about what town he's from in Iowa? And Dan goes, I don't know. I got no clue. Hey, what's did we ever mention?
I think actually what he said was, he's from Iowa? That's weird.
I said Jason, when we revealed that that Tucker's name is Lavernius, I go, we never revealed what Tucker's first name is, ever. Did we, Jason? And Jason goes, I thought his first name was Tucker.
I don't think that happened.
Who's left? Do we have any characters whose names we haven't?
Sarge.
Yeah.
Sarge, we haven't revealed what his name is. Tex, we revealed Allison, but we don't reveal her last name. And then we don't know what Doc's first name is. We went around and around making sure because he's named after like a character in another movie. But I don't think we ever revealed like his first name, just his last name.
More eyelids. Yeah. It's kind of creepy. It's like
it looks
your face is shedding.
You're a very handsome man, Bird.
I am a handsome guy. I am. I get more handsome every day. I spend 18 hours in a computer chair. God, I actually saw a thing in a magazine the other day that it was a treadmill that you can hook into your Xbox. It's like a USB treadmill. So when you want to walk, you walk, and that's the you.
Can you see yourself walking on the Xbox game? Is that the idea?
No, it's like you can play Halo. Like you can just like
independent of the game.
You can walk, and it like that's like the up is like walking forward. I don't know how you go backwards, but it's and then if you want to run, you actually have to run while you play Halo, and I should get that because
we should all get that.
My primary occupation is to sit in a chair, 15 hours a day, and then for fun I sit in a chair and play video games. So there's a lot of chair sitting.
You can get enough power on the USB to power a treadmill to have someone walk on like that?
No. It's like Gilligan's Island kind of thing. Like you walk on the treadmill to make the character walk. It doesn't. The Xbox doesn't power the treadmill.
Train, Jason.
Train.
What do you mean? Like USB is gonna power a treadmill. USB won't power a friggin' scanner half the time.
Powers my scanner.
It powers iPods.
It powers iPods.
What's wrong with you, Brody?
What's with all the references to Nintendo and iPods and everything else?
This ad brought to you by.
Are we squeezing a plug for?
That sounds gross.
What?
Squeezing a plug on your own time.
It's summertime. You know what makes summer great? Heineken.
This was actually a thing where O'Malley was shooting there at the beginning, and when they first attack, O'Malley's the one firing with his ghost.
Yeah.
And later we have the slow shots coming from the army guys. And we were worried because we didn't show O'Malley firing in his ghost that people were going to confuse the really fast firing with the slow firing of the robot army later.
Didn't happen though.
I don't think so. I stopped reading email after a while. And this was in the script. All it said was, "Donut screams like a woman."
Yeah.
Because that Sarge's line is "Donut scream like a woman." It says "Donut screams like a woman," and Dan just turned in such a funny thing that we turned in this big long thing with Donut running around in the background and everything else.
Dan's great at that.
Yeah.
Dan was MVP last year, I remember.
Yeah, he was.
For
He
this.
has no shame.
Yeah, have we declared an MVP for this year?
I don't think we
This
have.
season?
I don't know if we have one.
Well,
O'Malley was pretty good this season.
I think it's just from production. I would give Matt the MVP for nothing else than the DVD production.
Yeah.
Like in the last, Matt redid the new intro. He did the action intro. It's.
I like to swoop in at the last minute and take glory for everything.
He didn't work on many episodes.
Let everybody else do all the work during the entire season.
Also, I had a lot of fun doing the Spanish translations here at the end of the last couple episodes. More so than before. I don't know why.
Okay.
The people on the internet spell so poorly that I actually start to question my own spelling. Like when they quote that line right there, the Braun, they spell Braun with a U instead of a W, like the shaver company. BRAUN.
Another commercial?
And I actually thought, did I spell Braun wrong? I had to go look it up.
The worst for me is looking at the word gulch, like blood gulch. We get so many emails where there's a T in it.
Yeah.
And now I think that there should be a T in it, just because I see it so much.
GULTCH.
People spell sponsor with a CE.
Or
also.
Those are the British.
Sponsor.
This joke's just for Gavino.
I like how oh, shout out.
Oh.
First shout out. Thank God it came 10 minutes before the end of the DVD.
Can 32-year-old guys say shout out?
How did they look like us, man?
Anyone you want to give props to, Bernie?
Yeah. Big ups.
Big ups.
Word your mother. Yeah, the shot there where the shutters on the windows when we go into the room, it's actually, I was a little worried that like the cameraman being a man, it actually, our character, it actually has a physical representation of the world. So when we go through the wall there, you can actually see the shutter shutting along with the cameraman walking by, just like it is with text. But I think it works pretty well. And that's, I was just explaining to somebody the other day, that shot where Tucker falls down, and he hits the ground and the weapons fall on the ground as well. The sound effect in the game with the background noise and that huge generator, we actually take the sound effect, the background noise, and we record it separately and then ramp it down to about 33% of its normal volume, and then plug it in. Otherwise, the background sounds would be louder than the actual dialogue. Well, one of the problems that comes along with that is the native sounds we do want to use, like guns firing, bodies hitting the ground, weapons hitting the ground, that kind of thing. They're not loud enough for you to actually hear them. So I have to go and do like Foley work. Like we talked about dropping the bomb. Everyone in my line of sight is yawning as I'm saying this, by the way. So I can tell this is really interesting. But we did the sound effects for the bomb being dropped and stuff like that. We did that in my driveway. Well, you can actually do Foley work in the virtual world as well. Like for that body sound effect, that's an actual in-game sound effect. But I had to go to a different place that was quiet.
You missed your favorite joke while you were rambling.
With the orange, you glad I didn't say banana?
Yeah.
You know what else would have worked? It was too loud in that room, so I went to another room where it wasn't so loud and recorded it there.
Well, this...
Bernie's got to explain the challenges.
It can't be all jokes about, the schedule and Russ's appointments. There's got to be some goddamn information somewhere.
That's the first time I've ever seen Bernie tongue-tied in my life.
Son of a bitch.
For once, Bernie had nothing to say. That was a monumental occasion.
I'm getting tired of the Bernie talks too much.
I feel like I could die a happy man.
But where I did that one was I went to Beaver Creek in Halo 2, and there's like a hallway.
Creek, actually.
There's a hallway. There's a hallway underneath, like in the bottom of the base, and it's really quiet in there. So I go there to do Foley work. The only problem is that like the physical representation of the game is it's echoey. Like all the sound effects are echoey. So if you go back and listen to Tucker falling down on the ground, it's probably got like a little bit of reverb on it that isn't really fitting for that space. But it's the quietest
Not fitting
place.
for the space, but it kind of works for the scene because it's kind of spooky moment.
Yeah. But it's just and actually the way I had to do it was I want to have the sound effect of him falling, so I went on top of the base and like killed him with a grenade, where he flew back down through that window that's on top of the bases that you can drop down in. He falls down in there, and then it's separate from the explosion. It's far enough drop to where you just get the sound effect of the body dropping and the sound effects of the weapons dropping. I could put that. I could see that's something I could put on the DVD, but nobody would find it interesting. It's like 20 takes of me trying to get Tucker to drop down.
We didn't find it interesting when you explained it either, so...
I did.
Let's go back to the long pauses of the 2-hour mark of just staring at the screen.
I think that was the most challenging voice acting I've done.
Challenging.
It was challenge. Everything's challenge. That was my challenging voice acting, to have O'Malley speak Spanish and still be like in the O'Malley voice. For some reason, I could not wrap my mouth around those vowel sounds, especially the oil. How do you say oil in Spanish?
Aceite?
Yeah, I can't say that. I can't say that word.
Aceite. I remember listening to all your takes. That was pretty funny. But we actually had the line there, which was a Futurama line, a reference. I like to kiss my own butt and smell my own butt and all that.
Yeah.
And just one more thing we stuck in because Lopez is a Spanish-speaking robot. That'd be funny if he was a Futurama fan.
Well, yeah. I think that line you're confused. There's two different lines. That's a Mo line from The Simpsons. The sniff my own butt. And there's a separate Futurama line that your head looks like a butt and is shaped like a butt.
Oh, that's what it is. And it smells. And yeah, that's right.
So they're
dumb
very,
like a butt.
Dumb like a butt. They're similar jokes, but two different jokes.
So the reference, the subtle reference we made is completely wrong.
It's actually referencing Mo.
It references another cartoon on Fox. From there, you make the logical leap to Futurama.
You think anybody's still watching this? Listening to us?
I don't know. Maybe we should make some of the jokes from the season 1 commentary we deleted.
Season 2 commentary.
This is a funny thing.
Get Gus to leave the room.
This was the one typo from.
Destroyer.
Yeah, from all of Gary's. I don't think there were any other typos, but instead of destroyer, we put in
Destroyer.
I put in destroyer. And somebody saw it and we changed it, but I always thought it was a funny typo because it's kind of like a Freudian slip, because
it's all
with
over
who ends up being the great destroyer, it could be a great destroyer for us if we can't figure out how to do it correctly.
Yeah, no, it's the confusing prophecy. It's intentionally kind of confusing.
People really thought there was a significance to it. Yeah, the significance is
that you're
I didn't check my work.
Have these mics been muted the whole time?
No.
Oh, that would not be funny. And here we are.
Yay!
Back in Blood Gulch.
There's so many posts of where is that? Where are they? On
Really?
the forum after this came out.
I'm really looking forward to that big shadow that's over Red Base filming in there.
I know.
Dead bodies.
Film
them fast. Film them fast.
All the dead robots who have blood around.
No, that's
oil.
Right, it's red oil.
Hydraulic
I forgot to use the
fluid.
red oil.
Come on.
Transmission fluid.
Yeah, but the tough part is the bodies there, how fast they disappear. And the shadow stuff here, we talked about this, like that's something we actually had it written differently in the script, but then when we discovered the shadow thing and we actually discovered it on the last shot with O'Malley, that we could use O'Malley is attacked, that we could have the shadow that would go up on rocks and stuff like that. And we decided Jeff and I went back and filmed a bunch of stuff using the shadow the whole way through it.
That's a testament how great Halo is, as well as 57 episodes into the series, we're still finding new props to use in game that we just had never noticed before.
I have to point out, Gus, that's the last shot of season 3. That's the end of season 3. Hope you enjoyed it. But that last shot is something I got to point out. Gus here at the office has a wall of emails that he gets where people would just make the worst suggestions. And there was a guy who emailed and said,
you want me to get his name? We can read it.
We should read his name, give out his email address. But he doesn't ever play Halo and didn't know what that thing was.
Machinimators? I didn't see that before.
Yeah. We figured if we put animators, it was insulting people who actually do animation, so we call them machinimators. And
he thought it was a dinosaur.
He thought it was a dinosaur, and he said, you should call the dinosaur Crouchosaurus. So
if you bought the DVD, whoever sent that email, I think we're going to refer to him as Crouchosaurus from now on, internally.
We've called him Crouchosaurus, that character, every time.
What was the other email about? Something about a frogerator?
I don't know. Gus has the wall of shame of just like emails that either don't make any sense or just terrible suggestions.
The other day I got one where every word, like the first letter of every word was capitalized. Like the start of a new sentence, and I could not read it.
What's the one that Matt likes so much?
Oh, the one where the guy wrote, this was way back. I think it might have been season 1, I can't remember, but the guy wrote, hey, I noticed there weren't that many jokes. and you know people, they always write in a stream of consciousness, it's all there's no punctuation, it's just one rambling, they were correcting themselves in the email and stuff, and he goes, I noticed that last episode there weren't that many jokes, so if you need a joke, here's one that I always use that my friend said is funny, and it's you say I can't hear you, what, I had a dick in my ear? Except it's not in your ear, it's in the other guy's ear, but you know what I mean, because it's funny because there's a dick involved. Anyway, you should use that in the next episode. Thanks, bye.
And it got used in the commentary.
That's right.
And it makes its way in. And I noticed that when I was doing the credits that the thank you section is half of it. The credits are first of all the same 5 names repeated over and over again in the crew stuff.
We're about to run out of time.
And so we always.
Wow, that was fast credits.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks everybody for watching. That was fun.
I didn't think it was fun.
I
Gus has an appointment, so we gotta go.
It was weird to be sober.